It's time to wheeze some juice on Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we got the mayor, Ryan Mueller, in session. We've got the dirt farmer, Clint Busch, in the house, along with Nicole, Frier. I'm James Hauser, and we're here talking about Encino Man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Buddy. The Weasel.
Yeah, he's in this.
He is in this.
Our first Pauly Shore movie.
How did
Not
it
the last,
go
I'm sure.
100 episodes?
That is amazing.
120 episodes before finding any Pauly Shore movie, because they all got to qualify.
Biodome,
Everyone.
Jury duty, in the army now.
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law. They eventually will all be here.
They're fantastic. Are we going to do like this is a series and like it's going to be the same people for all 5 of them?
I don't know if it's not really a series of films.
Oh, counts.
Are you going to sign yourself up?
Yes, you're goddamn right. I do. There's no
Commitment.
question on whether or not I want to be on every Pauly Shore movie ever created.
All right, guys. So we are going to jump in to Encino Man. Ready to go?
Yeah.
We start off in the Ice Age in California. I'm assuming it is because we later on find him in the backyard in
California.
California.
Can you say California like Schwarzenegger, please?
California.
Thank you. Go ahead. It's just important to me. Thanks. You're so good at it. It brings you so much joy, too.
All right, so it's a cave. We see a cave. They're so covered in hair and fur, you can barely even make out the fact that it's Brendan Fraser. I don't think they wanted to really have people know that until he, thawed out later in the movie. But it is Brendan Fraser, and there's another girl, cave person in there, and they're coming in from a storm when all of a sudden there's an earthquake.
Yeah, he's trying to light a fire to stay warm.
Right, and the whole place starts shaking, and this is where I immediately was like, oh, first-time director, because the way they staged this shot, he stands up, and he's not any further from her than you are from me, Clint. And they're like both going, no, and like reaching out for each other, but all one has to do is like lean forward and they can grab hands.
It would have been fine.
Like you guys could have
arms are overlapping as they're trying to reach each other.
But that wouldn't have worked out if they thought out together,
I get it. Well, then what I'm saying is stage
We'll
it
get to
differently.
that. I have thoughts.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Stage it differently. Just have him a little further away. Have him, try to go lunge for, and he trips over the fire, and now he's on the ground reaching for anything that makes
something.
you don't have to stage it where they're right next to each other.
Also, it was really loud. Like for everything else in the movie, it was like war level loud.
Yes, it was.
I mean, I'm sure
The whole
earthquakes
world
are.
was caving in on them.
Yeah, well, I think too they
I
had
get
a
it.
small cave.
Nice.
Right, they hadn't upgraded yet. They were just in their starter cave.
Their starter cave. And in California,
taxes.
Those are not cheap
Not
caves.
real estate.
Even in the Ice Age, real estate was not
Did you
cheap
see
in
the
California.
Dude, a cave there was 10 times what a cave in Wisconsin
It
was.
is,
back then.
right. Yep, exactly.
Seriously. It's like 10 beaver pelts as opposed to one.
Right.
In Wisconsin.
Imagine all the cave people that were just living out, homeless too at the time. Caveless.
Right.
They didn't exist.
Caveless.
That's ridiculous. They had a cave. They were lucky.
Right.
All right. So what if they're caveman and they don't have a cave? Are they just man?
I
found a man.
That's right.
Cro-Magnon man.
Found
Magnon
somebody.
Man.
I found a person, an uncaved person.
Let's write that song.
Just
I would write
frozen,
that song with you.
frozen in a stone bench in what was a
Found
park.
person. That's all I needed to say. He was cold, like my ex-boyfriend. I'll work on the chorus and get back to you.
We are not going to stop you. No, nobody.
All right. The transition from that earthquake is to then an earthquake in present day where we see Sean Astin, a.k.a. Mikey from the Goonies, and Samwise Gamgee.
And Rudy.
And Rudy.
Year before
and all
Rudy.
these iconic parts. Bob in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And here he is waking up in bed and the whole house is shaking. And
The scene is so ridiculous.
Yep.
I live in California, so I'm going to put a whole bunch of crap on a shelf above my bed,
including a melted
It's
icy.
not above his
including
bed.
an icy.
It's on. It had to be the fan above his bed because the icy fell down.
It's not coming
Just
off of the
straight
wall.
down.
Yeah.
Straight down.
It's not
Yeah.
on a shelf.
what's funny about that icy is it's a full 10 seconds after the shaking stops that the icy like I missed my cue.
It's just his cat. His cat's up there
I'm
like,
assuming it's like, cat. Or just like a marble, which hit a pencil, which hit a book, which hit a something, which hit an ice.
nice.
Right.
It's just teetering on on the edge of the fan blade up there.
And then Les Mayfield, because he's never done this before, was like, should we shoot all that? No, we should just move on.
Just dump an icy above his face.
Perfect. All right. And so we know very little about Sean at first, but we learn almost everything we need to know about this very one-dimensional character in this first scene. In that he is how desperate to be popular could you possibly be if you're literally digging a pool in your backyard?
Yeah.
This is how desperate this man is to have friends.
I feel
and be
attacked.
cool. Did you dig your own pool?
We had an above ground pool, but we sat out there, me and my brother and my dad sat out there and cut the sod, dug the deep end portion of the pool ourselves, set up and put up this pool. I mean, we were young, obviously, so my dad was doing the most of this, but we were out there shoveling and running wheelbarrows.
So what was it? But what was the motivation behind it? That's what I'm talking about.
I wanted to be popular.
That's not why you dug the
And
pool.
look where you are.
No, we didn't want to swim in the damn lake across the street from the house.
That's a perfectly good motivation to dig a
Did
pool.
you know that there is seaweed and fish in the water, and that's gross?
Yes. But that's a good reason to dig a pool is what I'm, even if it was because your dad wanted to get with the neighbor and she liked pools, whatever. But this guy's
Good thing
like,
my mom doesn't listen.
if I dig a pool at my house, maybe people at school that would never even been here and know, I could just be like, I have a pool. Like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It rhymes with cool for a reason.
Yeah. Fine. Is he going to lay the concrete and stuff himself too once he gets done digging all
No,
the
he's going to wait for it to rain.
It's going to rain and he'll be fine.
Dude, that would have been the muddy.
I had
we'll get there.
I had no sense at all that he was going to even pour concrete because they were talking about we have to have this done for prom, which sounded like it was soon.
which apparently
And it
was in like a
was.
week.
It was less than a week
Just
total.
keep digging in a
concrete.
random amoeba shape until you get some concrete.
And I can tell you, because my neighbor behind me just dug a pool last year, that concrete was curing for that thing for about 4 weeks before they did anything else with it.
It ended up just being a puddle, a giant
They're
puddle.
basically like, just keep digging until
Super
you
clear
find a
water,
caveman.
too.
Otherwise, this movie is not going to work.
Oh, and Stoney comes over, and this is where we meet Pauly Shore's character Stoney for the first time. And I don't know if it was a matter of expectations, but I fully expected and prepared myself to be super annoyed by Pauly Shore.
Yep.
Just because I was just going off my own memory. And I actually found him incredibly endearing.
Seconded.
Yes.
100%.
Right?
I was in the same boat.
And it starts in this first scene where he comes up and he's like, man, I got to dig this pool so I'll be popular. And Pauly goes into this little speech, but he's like, hey, man, high school was pretty harsh, but we're on to bigger and better things. And I'm like, listen to your friend,
Right.
dude, because he's right. Like, you're almost done. It doesn't matter anymore.
I mean, he is 25. So he's really wise for a high
25.
school
They
kid.
all were.
Yeah.
All of it.
I
Except
did
for,
enjoy the double denim digging. There was
Absolutely.
just so much denim, cowboy tuxedos everywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had the Chuck Norris on.
Yeah.
Both of them had denim top, denim bottom.
Oh, see?
Sweet.
What? But he had pink pants on, didn't he? Didn't Stoney have pink pants on?
There was just like
Was it
denim
denim?
Yeah,
with
pink
lines.
on
pink
at some
denim?
point, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's rad.
Anyway, Robin, this is the girl that he wants to impress. Dave, Sean Astin's character, wants to impress this girl, Robin, who he has history with.
Yep.
And this is another just dart on the dartboard of why Dave is the shallowest person ever, because Stoney points out to him, like, hey, you guys have history and you had a chance to be with her. He's like, I know, but she wasn't a babe then, so he blew her off or
Yeah.
whatever.
What
And now
idiots.
it's babehood.
Now she's
Right.
hit babehood.
Right.
And so now he's got to dig this pool so she'll get with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We go to the school the next day, and he drives him there on his scooter and runs over.
While he eats Doritos.
Four-wheeling over
he's
the
eating
ferns.
With the old school Dorito bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so later on when we get to that gas station scene, I had to watch it twice because
Sweet
the
old
first time
labels.
I didn't even pay attention to what he was talking about because I was just looking at all the old Doritos bags and sweet
Oh
tart
my
labels.
God, yeah.
And I'm like, yes, for sure.
Right?
This is where we meet Matt Wilson. Did he look familiar to anybody else, the guy that played Matt Wilson?
Sheesh. Hush, please.
It's played by Michael DeLuise,
Yeah.
who is the brother of Peter DeLuise, who was played in Winners Take All.
Take On, a couple others we've
and
done.
a couple other movies that we've done. And he looks just like him. I
does.
thought it was him.
I was like, man, he looks familiar. I had to go look. Oh, no, it's Michael DeLuise.
But not Dom DeLuise.
No, that's their kids.
Totally.
Yeah, it's
It's
kids.
his sons.
Awesome.
And that's Matt Wilson. And I actually, for the longest, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Winners Take All, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
They look identical. They're not twins, though. All right, anyway, we meet Matt Wilson. And I wrote this out because I just love this so much. When Pauly explains to David, I should say, Stoney explains to David why Matt Wilson, like she goes, wow, what does she see in him? He says, well, you see, he has buff spikes chilling on top of his melon. He's got the serious beak and his own personal holding company full of fundage, bro, that he wheezes off of major. 18-inch buys as well, but alas, mine are only 4.
He wheezes off of me.
That's Pauly Shore if he talked like someone from the 1800s, I guess. But yeah, this is...
That was deep.
Did you understand half of what he said?
Yes,
About,
absolutely.
yeah.
100%.
So he's a
I mean,
trust fund
90%,
baby.
but I wasn't that
Trust
hard.
fund baby
I
is what
speak
I got.
weasel.
Yeah.
He's got buff spikes chilling on top of his melon.
Yeah. See, here's my thing with Pauly Shore all the way through. Like at the beginning here, as I was a kid and stuff like that, we didn't notice this stuff. We were, preteen to early teen when we're seeing Pauly for the first time. And legitimately, he could have had a longer run with this if he didn't take such Shatnerisms on everything. Like the a day, like his voice and everything is fine, and that's fun and entertaining. It's just like those goofy pauses that make him really seem like a goofy.
It killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and that's what it was his stand-up character, the weasel.
Right.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm just sitting here listening to him do his thing, and like I said, it was endearing. I actually enjoyed it. It just made me sit here and wonder like what these words would sound like if a regular person said them, and it's ridiculous.
Yes,
it is. It absolutely
you
is.
need to be odd to use these combinations.
This type
of words.
combinations of words for sure. So they go into class and they're learning about cavemen in class, and that's super convenient.
That is hella convenient.
Yeah,
because the teacher's like, "There's underground glaciers, maybe. I don't know. It'd be super common." Maybe there's even a caveman buried in your backyard. Go find out. I mean, he stopped just short of saying
keep
that.
digging your pool. You might find a caveman.
Just find a caveman. It's ridiculous. And we meet Ella also in this class, which is Robin's friend, played by Robin Tunney, who went on to be an actress of some acclaim and starred in a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger later in her career, End of Days. And Ella's a weird character because
I think he's dope.
She's Robin's best friend, but she disappears for the last third of the movie.
Yeah.
She's like a big part of everything, and then she's just gone.
She's like, I claim that guy.
Yeah.
And then later they're like, that's someone else.
No.
It's fine.
Yeah, never mind.
Sorry.
Like last time we see her, they're like together, and then we just never see her again until the end of the movie. Whatever. Again, the writing of this isn't what necessarily I would say is strong. I would say this movie is carried more by personalities than it is by.
And how much fun the 3 main guys are having.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
For sure. And so let's just get straight to the discovery because this is when the fun starts. So Ella and Robin, I'm going to skim past that. All right, sorry. So we go back to Dave digging the pool out, and the first thing he finds is what looks to be a rock, I thought at first, but he's like, it's chillin', bro.
Yeah,
and he puts his hands on it, and it's cold. And they unearth prehistoric Tupperware.
Nailed it.
Right.
It's a Mousterian bowl.
That's right. Which looks like Stoney actually has some decent
Stoney's been paying attention in history class.
Yeah.
He watches a lot of late night TV.
There was a line, I watched the movie twice. This line I didn't catch till the second time, but it made me laugh. He's like, it's still preserved. Like Smuckers.
I love that.
It's so great.
200 points.
And then he trips, the bowl almost goes flying. Sean Astin has to dive and catch it.
Rudy.
Yeah, seriously.
He's warming up for Rudy on that one. I thought the same thing.
All right. And I know we always talk about like we have to accept to a certain extent the reality that the movie presents to us if the movie's going to happen. And so what this movie posits here is that there is a caveman that has been frozen since the Ice Age.
6 feet underground.
6 feet.
Less than 6 feet. Yeah, right under a bowl.
And as soon as you dig them out, that's when the melting starts.
In unfrozen dirt.
In California.
Right?
Right.
The
Southern
dirt's
California
not,
at that.
The Earth's not frozen.
No.
We're in Southern California. But the ice
It's
cube
not hot in
has been
California.
maintained.
Come on.
No, not at all.
Sorry, California.
So, okay, fine. We're going to take that as they say it is. Fine. Okay. But yeah, then they have to excavate
With a freaking swing set and a lawn tractor and a series of ropes and pulleys. This is fantastic.
They did knock on the plexiglass too.
Yeah.
Right? Did you hear the sound that thing made? Like they couldn't even the Foley artist make it sound like it's ice.
They couldn't just like knock on an actual chunk of ice because we can get that right. We can produce that for
48
very
hours.
cheap.
It was like at a hockey game or something. Like he was knocking on
on a glass, right? Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So how did they put a rope around an old swing set with a slide?
Where did they attach the rope to the chunk of
It's
ice?
physics. Don't worry about it.
They wrapped a rope around it, man.
Yeah.
Right.
They got under it, obviously. That was easy.
they got
They
under it.
drilled a U-shaped hole under it, just fed the rope through it.
when they say
pulled up.
It wasn't a giant piece of ice that was really deep. It was just a small one, exactly encapsulating
Human
this
size.
element.
This is the early 90s, so they just watched that thing on TV about how they saved baby Jessica in that
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
wow.
Right?
Yes.
And they just
So they
dug
did the
down,
same thing.
Did the baby Jessica maneuver.
Did the same thing.
Fresh reference.
Yep, all that. That's a real fresh reference. Those don't get fresher than that, buddy. All right, fine. They pull this, what's got to be
gotcha.
600-pound block of ice, easy,
Yeah, a couple anyway. Yeah.
out of the earth, okay? And the director even's like, we're not showing them put it in the garage. We're just cutting it.
Yeah.
Gonna put it on two horses.
It's on two
Fine.
sawhorses too, because that's how you would thaw out a dude.
Yeah.
You put a couple of space heaters in. So again,
Yeah.
they're in Encino, California,
because-
and they own several
Multiple.
quartz space heaters because that makes sense. All
Because
right,
in
they would have that.
Southern California, you're not just going to leave a block ice out to melt, and it'll melt in a matter of a few hours. You got to throw space heaters
You
on
got to
it.
put it in the garage. You know,
And in the garage. Well, it's true. It's shadier
couldn't
in the
have
garage.
people see it.
Yeah, right.
And this dingus Dave is immediately like, this fame, money, popularity.
This is
right?
it.
We
We're
found a
gonna be
guy.
awesome.
And again, Pauly Shore's character is, I don't want to be part of anything. I just want to be me.
Right.
Just every scene, I love this guy more and more. And finally, after they get him out, he goes, all right, make sure you tell no one,
Yeah.
not a single person.
No.
Hey, Robin. I found a guy.
Immediately.
I found a caveman.
He
You
goes
want
to
to come
school.
over? Maybe? Come over?
Want to come over and see my
After school?
caveman?
I have a caveman. You want to bang? Like it's
That's
basic
basically what it was.
what it boiled down
Yeah.
to.
I'm going to try that when I get home. It's not going to work. I'm going to tell you guys that right now, but I'm going to try it.
Want to come see my caveman right next to my bed?
They could have made him more endearing. I just wish.
He wasn't at all.
I know, and I wish.
Not even a little bit. Because
Nice.
Sean Astin's a very endearing
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's odd. It was a very strange kind of experience to watch a movie where he's not likable.
It's almost like out of character for him.
Right?
Because he's
It's like him and Matt had a douche off, right? Like which one is going to be more of a tool, like actually,
right.
But for different reasons.
But he and Pauly Shore should have done an endearing off.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Speaking of people that you think are tools, I should show you. Did you see this freaking mug I got? Look at this, dude. I got an
That's
Ernest.
awesome.
I got an Ernest P. Worrell
Wow.
mug.
Ernest is a tool. You're
Because
correct.
and I brought it in here because I know that Clint hates Ernest, and I've got an Ernest mug. And we have another one. The reason I want to show you guys this. So this was done by our guy Brian Draws Movies. Okay, so each of these mugs have a hand drawn picture on them. That one's from Three Amigos. It's it's the Two Amigos.
It's both of the
Steve Martin and
Amigos.
Martin Short. It's
But you
no
get
Chevy
to be the
Chase.
third one with your face.
You're
next to the
Chevy Chase. You're Dusty
Yes.
Bottom.
Is that what it
You
is?
have
I
some
really
art.
am.
Yeah, so it's this cool. He's actually a friend of mine on Instagram. He follows the show, and I've seen his work on there. Again, it's briandrawsmovies.com is the website, and dude has all kinds of mugs and artwork from all kinds of movies.
And he draws those.
Yeah, he draws
Like a
these.
hand draw or
Yeah, no,
like
they're
on a-
hand drawn.
Nice.
You see when you go on the site, it's
Okay.
really, really cool.
Christmas is coming.
So
guys.
Christmas
It
is
is.
coming, and they're actually not that bad price wise. So do me a favor, support our guy if you get a chance. Head to Brian Movies. Head to briandrawsmovies.com and check out what he's got on there and hook our guy up, man. Because we're gonna have these in the studio now. We've got he has an Encino Man one too that I wasn't sure if it was
Sweet.
gonna be here in time for this episode.
It would have.
But there's it would have.
It's stuck in ice in
retrospect.
California.
Right.
It's currently frozen.
You just need a space heater.
Yeah, I went to mention that earlier, and so I forgot. We were taking a sidetrack here. But yeah, check out briandrawsmovies.com. He's awesome. All right, where were we? Oh, yeah. Hey, Robin, I have a caveman. Get with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After he says,
Let's
don't
do
tell
it.
anybody. She blows him off, right? I think she goes, oh, Dave, you're drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And this is when Matt Wilson comes up, and he's like, I don't know, mad that Dave is breathing the same air as Robin or whatever.
Right.
Yep.
Talking to my girl, man. And so what's his catchphrase? He has the stupidest catchphrase of a villain in any movie ever. Shoo, shoo,
Shush. It's real fun though. I do like it.
It was fun.
Pauly Shore said it too. I like
At the end.
At the end, yeah.
Busch.
And what does he do to get back at Dave for talking to his girl?
Staple gun.
Staple him to the wall.
Staple him to the wall.
By his clothes.
By his clothes, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
I'll
that would
give
have been way worse to staple him by his skin, bro.
But maybe he would have a better chance of succeeding. I'll give him the caveman and 6 feet of dirt in California, but there's no way four
Seven
staples
staples.
Wasn't
are
like-
gonna hold
No,
up
dude, there was
Sean
many-
Astin
and
on
it
the
wasn't
wall.
there
like
were
a
many
staple gun.
staples
It
through the
doesn't
club.
matter.
We're doing it.
You put 1,000
No, we're
staples,
doing it.
it's not working.
It wasn't like a staple gun either. I could
All
see
right.
if it's a half-inch staple.
We're gonna need-
from a
we're gonna
staple
need
gun.
Ryan
I brought
Madela.
a staple gun right
No,
here.
it
We
was
are
like-
going to need
Let's
Ryan
go try.
Madela here because he's about Rudy's size. We're going to need him in a baggy jean jacket, and I'm going to staple his ass to the wall.
it was
This
like
is
they
going to
took-
work.
it's like they
or
took-
be fun anyway.
It's like they took the stapler from Mrs. Peterson's classroom and put him on the wall.
Yeah, that's not going to hold. That barely holds
this
paper
month's
together.
That's what I'm saying.
This month's Patreon content.
All right, you're going to have to use a library stapler, not one
We are
from
going to go back,
Menards.
watch the tape. We're going to zoom in and get the exact freaking model
Nope.
number
Not
and
happening.
staple length.
And we'll get Nicole on the wall. She's the
We'll
lightest
wrestle it out
anyway,
of,
so if we're going to have a chance of succeeding, it's going to have to be you.
It doesn't sound that fun. No,
Okay.
I'm busy that day.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. All right, he gives
Well,
us
can't do it
once
now.
he gets Dave up on the wall, he gives this really stupid list. Some of us
pump, and some of us slump.
you should try to pump. It'll help your acne. Cut to his totally acne-free
yeah,
face.
like 100%
Right.
clear.
Right.
You know, and it dawned on me that other than Pauly Shore's stuff that he writes himself, whoever wrote this did not understand how teenagers in the 90s talked
Yeah.
No.
at all.
Well, also
They
the
didn't.
actors weren't teens, so
they weren't
maybe they all
teens
could.
either, and
Nobody
so they
could
didn't know.
check.
But you've got this, like, I've never heard anyone say, and you've got even Ella in another scene, like, I think he's jive, like, as a positive thing.
You're right.
And I'm like, I don't remember last time someone said jive. and-
Becca said the same thing. She's like, "Did we say that in the '90s?" I was like,
Nope.
No."
It's a Californian thing, obviously.
obviously,
Like, totally.
they were still
Wait,
in
no,
the 70s.
That's the 80s.
Back in the 90s, out in California. We head back to the house for Link's Awakening.
While we weren't there.
No, nobody? Link's Awakening. It's a Legend of Zelda.
Zelda.
Legend of Zelda.
I'm
I
there.
got
I
it.
just was
It was
waiting.
the second Ames.
I thought you were going
waiting.
to sing the theme song. I was giving you time.
I appreciate it. All right, so this is basically, think about this for a second. Okay, you're a caveman. You've been frozen in ice since the Ice Age, and you wake up in this shed.
Yep.
It's basically time travel.
Yeah.
Probably your
Yeah.
butt hit the ground first. It was very confusing.
Yeah,
Very
because you
confusing.
would have bent in half as you started to thaw with it.
Right.
Do you become a reanimated human the moment the ice that's been around you for 1,000,000 years goes away? I would assume you had to pee really
I'm
bad.
assuming that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because we learned that from, Austin Powers. that
Yeah,
When you
right.
get unfrozen, you have to pee
You have to
a
pee
lot.
a lot.
And we know that's scientifically accurate.
Right.
Of
That's
course,
gotta
that's
be.
where you get it.
Well,
Also,
that's the
there
research.
obviously would be muscle atrophy, assuming any of this even would have. Like, what? There's
Not
like
if you're
so many
frozen.
No,
layers.
you're frozen.
Just
Yeah.
layers
Yeah.
of
No.
just of science.
All that stuff.
You're
Just
frozen.
So many layers.
There
of
is
science.
no science in this universe.
But considering that he time traveled a long, long time, I think he handles it pretty well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does well.
Too well.
All he does, what he attacks a garbage truck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
drinks some gutter water,
Yeah.
True that.
starts a fire in the house.
He actually
Yep.
wasn't nearly as scared as he should have been.
No.
You don't understand. They knew nothing but rocks and sticks and
He
animals.
saw so many houses across the vista and was like,
What
sweet.
the hell's that house?
It's like,
What's the
some
house?
nice houses out here.
Remind him of his old
I
neighborhood.
wonder what the taxes are here.
Right?
How many beaver pelts is it?
Technically, do I still own this land? I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the ice have like frozen his skin? Okay. never mind.
all that
I'm gonna
stuff.
talk to my lawyer.
He does what I would do if I thought out after a long time. Watches some Terminator.
Yeah. I mean,
living
Arnold making this movie better.
I love it. Arnold shows up.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
It's like the first thing he sees after 50 millennia or however
Right.
long he's been
He
frozen.
remembers
in
how to
ice.
use his mouth and his tongue and figure out how to specifically
"Ah."
place his tongue in the right places, say the German version of English. And
Yep.
all that stuff. It's great.
yeah.
But when Dave and Stoney get back and they realize it's like, why is Dave shocked that it's melted
Right. They set it up to melt.
with space
Right.
heater?
Literally, that was their intention, was for it to
He
melt.
comes in the garage he's like, oh, it melted.
I
What are
know.
we gonna
And then he like played with the water while he thought about his sadness for a while.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
this
it's
is
melted.
caveman goo water.
Did they just assume he dissolved because they didn't think he would be alive, right?
I don't know how bright Dave is.
He's not, because later on when he's like, let's see how smart he is, he goes over and does the thumb trick, like to test the other guy's intelligence. Like, okay, great IQ test.
By the way, when Link he wasn't called that yet, but when he was like at first walking around or looking, they were playing like, I swear, lute music. Or like, that's the other Link, actually. Wrong Link.
Right.
It was Link's Awakening.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It was legit. They call him Link because he's the missing link, right? And they were real subtle about coming up with that name. But he basically says, as they discover him in Dave's room, he broke a chair into pieces, and he's trying to start a fire, which is what he was doing before he froze. Dave says to Stoney, like, we have to, like, we get to keep him. Like, we have to, or he'll take him away and cut him into little tiny pieces. You think, oh, he cares about him. He's like, and then we won't be popular. I'm like, right back to sucking Dave.
Right.
Oh. So they give him a bath.
Right.
After, well, I should say, first, there is fear when he sees humans for the first time, right?
Right. He's afraid of humans. He's afraid with a dog.
People. The only thing that he would recognize is a human person, I'm assuming. None of this other stuff would
Right,
make
because he
sense.
did a cool like hand and paw stack with the dog, and it worked out great.
Yeah, we can assume he wouldn't have killed that dog and ate him
right
immediately.
away. Yep.
Like immediately.
You have to think he's hungry.
Right.
After he pissed, he's got to be hungry.
Right. And I
For a
don't think they
Pop-Tart or
had domesticated dogs back then.
No.
I don't know. I'm not who knows? I'm not a dog scientist. Okay. Somebody else do that research. Research dogs domestication of dogs during the Ice Age and get back to me immediately. Ultimately,
he rocked a doorknob to get into the room, by the way, too.
He did rock a doorknob.
Well done.
Nice job, Link.
Yeah.
He gets in after about 30 seconds of hesitancy. He then just starts jumping on the bed, right?
Yeah.
Like all's well.
Right.
He shows him a lighter to get him to calm down at one point.
Yeah, because like, hey, look at how easy this fire is.
Hey, we can make fire, no problem. And then ultimately they give him a bath.
I said, if he talks by the end of this film, so help me.
He talked like 2 scenes later. He was talking.
Yeah.
Right?
You didn't see this when it was relevant?
No, never.
Oh, wow.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's Mr. in the 90s. How old were you in 1992?
Carry the 12.
12.
And
All right.
something, yeah.
Okay. So
Same age as us, basically.
how'd you dodge that bullet?
I didn't want to watch it. That's how.
Saw the trailer and you said, I'm busy that day.
Yeah, it didn't exactly call to like that demographic.
No,
the
it really
11-ish-year-old girl was like, wow, those three guys.
No, but Pauly was looking
30-year-old men going to high school with brown paint everywhere.
Can I give some props to Brendan here really quick before we move on here? There's a bath scene where they start playing the Right Said Fred song on
Yeah.
my shirt.
Classic
90s.
Absolutely.
makeover song.
Brendan Fraser is an underrated physical comedian.
Heck yeah.
Okay, I don't know if any of you have ever seen like George of the Jungle or some of the other stuff he's done. But man, his stuff, whether it's with the toothpaste and the teeth brushing and him trying to eat the toothpaste or eating or drinking the aftershave and spitting it out and then eating the bath beads, it's a hilarious
He just
bit.
keeps eating the bath.
Just popping them.
It's not just him, being stupid. It's like little nuances in his performance that actually are hilarious. During this whole scene, I'm laughing at almost everything he's doing.
Which I think this movie highlighted that aspect of his ability to perform.
Yeah, I don't know
because
if it's
For
something
me,
that he
it's
gets.
literally
willingness.
didn't
It's
say-
willingness to be like, doesn't have a lot of clothes on, doesn't really matter about that. The point is that it's a lot of actors would have been like, that's too weird.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And he's like, I don't care, I'll just do it.
Full commitment.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
That
Right?
was way easier to say.
No. So I just want to give him props because I don't think physical comedian is something he gets a lot of credit for.
Nope.
Or a lot of even opportunities when he started being Mr. Leading Man to do that kind of stuff. And in this, he did.
Yeah, I mean, because he had next to no dialogue in this movie at all. So it was all reliant on his ability to kind of communicate through the physical aspects of it.
Yes. And it's funny, everything he does almost, like when he's drawing cave drawings on the chalkboard in science class, and he's when he draws the wiener on the
He's
guy.
the looker.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Most of the times I
Catch
laughed
up
the
drawings
hardest.
later
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the glass.
Most of the times I laughed the hardest. It wasn't when a line was said. It was something he did.
He's
usually.
doing. It would have been nice if he had a cave drawing of a dick punch.
There you go. Instead, it was an arrow firing into a buffalo or something, right? It's just funny. On the chalkboard, it was like Cro-Magnon Man, and right next to him is actual caveman doing cave drawings on the chalkboard. They also teach him about boobs too, which is really important.
I think he knew about boobs, bro.
I think he already
No,
knew.
he had a
about
girlfriend.
boobs.
He knew
Again,
about
I wasn't the
boobs.
target audience.
There are a few things he understood as a caveman that he didn't need to be taught.
Right.
And I'm assuming that was one of them.
Boobs,
Yes.
one of them.
But, Gonzaga's, and I'm thinking like,
Gonzaga's.
the basketball team?
Gonzaga's.
They're actually really good.
They are really good.
Yeah.
Why are they? Yeah, I don't know. Of all the slang terms for those, that's one I've never.
I'd never heard that
Sure,
one
it's
either.
local
Cones,
to
dude.
Encino.
It
It's
must be an Encino
yeah.
thing, right?
Has to
Must
be.
be. No problem.
On day one, he could say, "Whoa."
All right, then the dumbest parents of all time come home.
That's
They're
exactly
just
what
so
Becca
busy.
said. She said, these parents are idiots.
They're just so busy that they,
Oh, is that what it is?
Trying to make a life for their family.
They hear the parents are coming in the driveway, so he tells Stoney to get Link out of there and to come back to the front door and ring the doorbell after the parents.
And
come.
what parent honks before they enter their driveway?
Just so you know, we're here.
Right.
In case you're doing
in
anything.
case
in
you
there
got a
with
caveman you thought out. We're
This
here.
place is
Get them
so
outside.
friggin' trashed.
It is like parents come home and the kitchen is a disaster.
The whole house,
The
like,
whole house, yeah.
the big muddy footprints, the drawings on the walls all over the place. This place is just
No,
destroyed.
but they come in and the dad gets a real calm. What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Right? My dad comes in and the
I'm making
house looks
dinner
like
for you
that,
guys.
and it's World War III up in there.
Right.
Not at all. These are the chillest parents and the dopiest ones because he's like, oh yeah, I'm making dinner. I'm trying to do something nice for you.
What do
guys.
you make it? Nobody asked that. I would have asked that next. I'm just making flour and broken glasses.
I'm making glass tortillas.
Yes, perfect.
Delicious.
Little sister, you are so screwed.
The doorbell rings. Sean Astin does the worst acting in his career, maybe the best because he's acting like he's doing terrible acting.
Right.
And it was like, oh, who are you? What's going on? Oh, it's our foreign exchange student that we all signed up to host at our house.
Doesn't anybody ever pay attention to me?
Yeah, and he gaslights his parents
Yep.
that he
Yes.
had told them about this.
Yep.
Oh, I can't believe you're going to take it back now? You're going to say you didn't know?
And then Dad's like, well, I do kind of remember you talking about
Of
something
course
like
it's
that.
the dad.
It always is the dad.
It's the dad that just assumes that he forgot. If it was me, I'd be like, I probably didn't remember, right? But it's the mom that really is like, no, I don't think I would ever forget about this. But they all just go along with it. Meanwhile,
Linkovich Chomsky
He's
from
out there-
Estonia.
Yeah.
putting the dog into an attitude adjustment, John Cena style on the point. And like, oh yeah, I think they do that in Estonia. I think that's
Lex Luger torture racking the dog.
seriously.
Jim Ross is out there. My God, stop the match. He broke him in half.
Then they go in the next day and they gaslight the school into enrolling him
Yeah.
as a foreign exchange student, and no one there bats an eye either.
It's California, though.
With a dog license. He's got his distemper and rabies shots, so yeah, let him in. That's
Flea
fine.
dip also.
He's got all his shots. Let him in.
That poor, overworked school secretary is just like, fine.
I don't
I
get
believe
paid
that
enough.
more than the parents.
Right.
Right.
Right?
It's like, I don't
Other
get paid
thing,
enough,
it's a
whatever.
small thing, but he had figured out how on day 2 of living in the real world how to eat lollipop gently without eating the stick.
Without eating the stick.
Just gently
Yeah.
Americanized.
Or that the stick isn't edible in the
Right.
first
Well,
place.
it's just like a mammoth lollipop, though. You just
Sure.
pop it in,
Yeah, and then here we get the third example of Dave going, we can do whatever we want with him. And Stoney going, I just want to be his friend.
What
How
a
are
guy.
these two friends?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, because they let him
'cause
in his
the
house.
balance.
That's why.
That's what it is.
You let me
the
eat your
balance.
food.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So meanwhile, Link is seeing more people than he's literally ever seen in his life.
Probably.
And he's like, this is fine.
Yeah. He's like, oh, cool, high school. He even tries at one point to go like, we're in high school. Like he would understand.
Right.
Oh,
that
yeah, high school. I totally understand.
He has a little bit of idea. They try to present it like he doesn't understand social norms because in a second here he runs right up to Ella, Robin's friend, and sniffs her hair and does the Iceman, bite in her face, and she's totally into it.
Yeah, she loved it. She said, I'd love it when they were getting taught about Cro-Magnon Man. She's like, I'd love that.
She says that import is mine, right?
Right.
Like claims him.
Yeah.
But really, if it was an actual caveman, he would not be able to process any of this. You're on the second day of him being here.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he'd be in the corner.
You'd assume.
Or
Also,
murderous rampage. Either way.
It's one of the other.
Or
way.
attacking the women for.
can we talk about? I was going to wait until we
Yeah.
got to the blade scene, which is when they try to espouse that, or Pauly Shore tries to say that. He
Pacifists.
they're a pacifist. That cavemen wouldn't be violent. That it's current times that has evolved into being hyper violent. And I was just like, okay, out of all the stupid things, that's the most ridiculous thing this movie tries to say is that people have been ruined over time, and that back then they were this peaceful, pacifist culture. Those cave people would have torn whatever came across their way to shreds. Okay, for food, clothing, shelter, whatever, and take what you have.
Because if they didn't, they wouldn't live.
They would be dead. After Ella meets him and Robin completely, what does she just not remember the fact that yesterday Dave told her that they found a caveman?
Exactly. And all of a sudden this guy is here who's acting kind of, cavemanish.
Right.
Oh, he's a foreign exchange student.
And she's just like, yep, no. All right, so we're gonna move forward here a little bit, and then there's some scenes that just ultimately mean nothing. So then after this, we get to the grindage lesson at the gas station.
Yeah.
What the hell is grindage? Because it took me halfway through the
Grinds.
movie
Food.
to figure out what the hell he was talking
Yeah,
about.
grinds means food. So then
Grinds means food?
Yeah, so he put udge on a bunch of stuff. Edge.
I didn't even know grinds meant. When did
grind ever mean food?
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
wondering.
mean, in Hawaii it does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
See, I had no idea.
I've been to Hawaii. I didn't even hear that.
Okay, so grindage is
Interesting.
food.
Grinded just food.
Figured that out using context clues about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
But-
I probably did too from other Pauly stuff.
This is where he goes through the 4 major food groups with him at the gas station,
Accurate.
Fruit group.
which is the fruit group, which is sweet
Yep.
tarts, right?
Yep.
We got meat group. That was the burrito and the
burrito.
Yep.
in the oven. There
Corn
was
nuts was vegetable.
corn
Yep,
nuts was
corn
the
nuts,
vegetables. And what was the first one? The first one he got the oh my gosh, there was sweet tarts, corn nuts.
Wasn't it like the dairy
Like a
group or
chocolate
something?
dairy group.
Yeah.
It's chocolate. Some
That's
Chocolate
right.
something.
Kit Kat or something.
Yeah, but it's driving me crazy that I can't remember what
product
candy
was.
bar it was.
Dairy group. It wasn't Milk Duds. That would have been perfect.
No, it was Milk
it was
Duds.
Milk Duds.
It was
Yeah, it was
Milk
Milk
Duds.
Duds.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's the word milk in it.
Yes. And so the milk group, which was Milk
Milk
Duds,
Duds.
right? And so his whole diet now as a caveman who I'm assuming had never eaten sugar before.
Would just he would poop everywhere.
Yeah, his body processed it well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is going to be on a Milk Duds, sweet tart, corn nuts,
Yep.
and burrito
and
diet.
Gas station burritos.
Gas station burrito.
There is
And a mouthful of
background.
Slurpee.
There's
Which
a
did not
background.
get on his shirt at all, by the way.
There's a background ridiculousness going on at this point. He literally, Kashmir Rajneesh, how long for a burrito?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
1 minute, 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he puts it in. The whole thing is going in the background. The thing comes out. He breaks it in half, hands it to him. I was like, hot on the outside, icicle in the middle. And in the background, you hear 2 minutes.
It was funny.
I was like, to me,
that's
that was
funny.
just
I laughed at that. It
amazingly
was.
funny.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
two
that was
actors
funny.
there is Eric Avari, who would later on actually star with Brendan Fraser in The Mummy, was the main attendant, and then the other attendant was played by Jerry Bednob. Not kidding, that's his name. And Jerry Bednob, a lot of people know from 40-Year-Old Virgin, if you remember,
Okay.
the Arab guy that worked at the electronics store with him.
yeah.
That was like he was trying to
Why
swap
always-
shifts with him all the time.
Why always somebody go fuck a goat, man?
That's right. Exactly, that guy. These are the two actors that play the two attendants in this scene. And then we get probably, I'd say, the most famous thing that came out of this movie.
No wheezing the Jews.
No Wheezing the
The
Jews.
juice.
No, we sing the juice. Where's the juice? No, no.
This is it was presented, it's a regular thing that Stoney does, that he just goes in here and sticks his face under the ice
Wheezes
machine
some juice, yeah.
and wheezes some juice.
We're going to go crush the mountain later. I got to go eat some juice.
Yeah, which is Magic Mountain, the
Yep.
amusement park,
Yep.
which they're about to go to and waste another 5 minutes in this movie, riding around on roller coasters. But the funniest thing that came out of the Magic Mountain montage to me was him trying to punch the panda mascot as they walk
That
by
was
it.
funny.
But again, as a caveman, why wouldn't you see that and try to murder it, assuming it's a panda
You
bear?
would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's been on thought of whole 2 days now, so
this point,
he's
yeah.
pretty domesticated now.
Well, he's just hanging out with these idiots. Like, he's probably thinking to himself, I'm the smartest people these guys know. I've got to teach them the ways to be.
Honestly. And I don't want to skip over what you said before, Nicole. You're right. After Brendan Fraser says himself, wheeze the juice, goes over and gets icy all over his shirt.
It's coming out of his mouth.
Out of his
We didn't
mouth.
See if it went on his shirt yet, but then he goes at the door like squeaky clean.
he comes back to do the Terminator callback, right? He puts the sunglasses
he does.
on.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
And,
Which was cute.
Which was great. No, it was awesome. We're going to get here. This is where they finally get to blades. Okay, we're going to, again, half of this movie is montage and them just running around doing stupid things. The next plot point really is they've been invited to blades because Ella wants to get together with Link.
Link has been invited. Can I bring my
Stoney's
friends?
like, can I come? And they're like, whatever. So Dave and Stoney tag along. And immediately, Link has got like that caveman riz. You know what I'm saying? Like she jumps in his arms. He's drawn pictures of her in ketchup and mustard on the glass, and she's all over it.
Well, yeah, he's drawn as like, is that me? You know, oh, it's your girlfriend. Like long distance doesn't work. You know, I'm here right now.
Right.
But she's into it.
Total whore.
Meanwhile, Dave,
She played it well. She really did.
Dave, who had all night to think of whatever his move for Robin was going to be, and the thing he landed on was, remember when we were naked together?
And shows the picture.
In front of picture.
Oh no, yeah, that one's yours.
Bro.
Got copies.
So I either wanted,
It'll work.
If he could have been more awkward, it would have worked for the film. Or if he was more endearing, it would have worked for the film. But it was a weird, squidgy middle part that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because how is that the move? Like, what were his expectations of, all right, hold on. I got this picture. We're naked. We're toddlers. I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to, I'll say, remember when we were naked together? And then she's going to break up with Matt and come like, be with me. Like, what was his expectation there?
It's got to be right down there on the same line as like catcalling to girls out of your car while you're driving by. Like they're supposed to just bust off their shoes and run after you.
Yeah.
Like, how do they express their, I was like, oh my God, that was a really good sounding horn.
Yeah,
Right.
You should come back and talk to me for real.
Hold on, I'm interested. You've got a naked picture of us from when we were toddlers?
How did that not work?
Can't possibly work.
It certainly doesn't work like telling someone they could drink whole milk if they want to because, they're not fat.
Napoleon had that.
Napoleon had
that awkward loser game like you're
But he had
talking
the
about,
moves.
where he was being endearing because he really was trying to pay her a compliment that she could drink whole milk if she wanted to because she's not fat.
Yeah.
Right.
Where this was just like, you remember when we were naked together?
Yeah.
I want to get naked with you now.
Meanwhile, Ella's over here trying to mac on Link, and he hears the Rad Racer. Was it Rad Racer? I think
Yeah,
it's what it is.
Rad Racer.
And I'm just started laughing. I'm like, of course.
Oh,
yes.
dude. As soon as I
women
saw
have been
that-
losing to video games, apparently, even since back with the cavemen. Off he goes to go. She's mid sentence, and he's like, bye. Rad
Rad
Racer.
Machine.
Rad
or whatever,
Racer.
yeah.
I remember games like that, dude. It was called Rad Racer. If that was
Yeah, but
a made
they call
up
it Rad Machine or
something
something.
like that.
Yeah.
I only remember
Awesome.
Outrun. I never remembered Rad Racer.
There was a Sega one. I remember it just had a red sports car.
Yeah, Outrun.
Was that Outrun?
That was Outrun.
Okay, loved that game.
That was an
Loved
awesome
it.
game.
And the good news is 3 days out of thawing, he had hand-eye coordination for days.
Oh, yeah.
And
to
knew what
drive
quarters
a car.
did.
Yeah, right.
Well,
And knew how to drive the Rad Racer game.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, to
And
be
it's-
fair, he's a hunter, so he's got to have good hand-eye coordination.
Sure, and you know how to turn a wheel to. Yeah, mhm.
Yeah.
were they even,
That's how you steered mammoths.
Yeah.
were they
steering
even
wheels.
riding mammoths or horses back then?
No.
I don't think they were.
He did catch that fly earlier. His reflexes were too good after being frozen for a gajillion years.
He's tracking.
That's right.
I do love how supportive Stoney is of his friend. He sees his friend enjoying this video game and he just runs over and he's like,
Right.
yeah, and
You
starts
got
cheering
that.
him on and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Dave is getting beat up by Matt because, again, he's breathing the same air.
You're not
as
supposed to
Robin.
be here.
Right.
Right.
Gets pushed around on the ice, and Link gets off the video game to go back up his friend, but there's no fight. Matt punches Link in the face and he just eats it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where Stoney was like, oh, the cavemen are pacifists.
And I didn't remember that he
sure
just
about
ate
that?
it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because I hadn't seen this since the 90s.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to show Matt his comeuppance now. And
Yeah.
he just stood there, right? And nothing.
But that works better for the ladies. To be
It does,
like, oh my
'cause-
gosh, you're such a caveman.
In this case, she left him because he was being like a caveman. So
Yes.
Robin breaks
Right.
up with Matt after the
Exactly.
punch thing.
Yeah.
Throws his class ring on the ice. Ultimate disc move right there.
Right.
They even had the string wrapped around it and
Yeah.
everything.
To make
Yeah.
it smaller. Yeah.
Yep.
And then after this, Dave was unhappy that Link didn't get his back, so he goes and he's going to teach a caveman how to fight. Somebody who's probably killed things with his bare hands
He
before.
tried to kill a garbage truck.
Right.
with a
It
rake or a
sounded like an
shovel.
elephant, okay.
Right. But I'm saying it's like he went it's like, oh, mammoth? Yeah, I got this.
Right.
But we're going to show him Dino Bravo clips from the WWF
Right.
and Kung Fu movies, and we're going to teach him how to
Oh,
fight.
it's so good later, though, because of it.
During this montage of him learning how to fight, when he breaks the board over Dave's head was one of my highlights of the
I
entire
love that. Yeah, that was funny.
Instead of using his own, he just takes both of Dave's hands.
Whack.
I laughed so hard, dude.
Dude, there's
I
probably
was like, yeah, eat it, Dave.
the montaging in this is just so funny. Like, they don't
There's
need to be
4
talked
of
about
them,
aside
right.
from just the hilarity of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, this is when I realized something, because right after this we get another. There's 30 minutes left of the movie. We're an hour in
And
to
I was checking, by the way.
to a 90-minute. I don't blame you. Into a 90-minute film. We're an hour in. Right? You're supposed to be humming into the final act here.
Yeah.
And we're now getting a montage of Link being popular, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And just befriending everybody, the breakdance guys and the computer nerds and all. And I'm like, there's only 30 minutes left in this movie. And this is when I realized that this movie is as meandering and plotless as Napoleon Dynamite was.
Just about, yeah.
In that it was just kind of both hangout movies where you spend time with these characters, nothing really is happening, and it all culminates in a prom, just like Napoleon Dynamite does.
Right.
And not really a whole lot is going on.
The antagonist is yourself, man. You don't need to get to one.
Right. And so it was kind of oddly struck me just how similar the two movies were, at least in structure. Totally different
Structurally,
characters,
yeah.
but structurally very, very, very similar.
Yep.
We do have an incredible moment that happens here. As he's befriending the nerds, the head nerd of Computer Club invites him to join them, and it's Ki-Hugh Kwan, who we all know as Data from the Goonies and Short Round from Indiana
I
Jones.
thought he looked familiar. Okay.
And as he walks on to invite Link to be part of the Computer Club, Sean Astin walks behind and is sitting there watching the interaction. They never interact, but that was the first time since the Goonies that any Goonies had appeared on stage on screen
really?
together.
Yeah.
And the last time it's happened.
Wow.
That was the one and only time since Goonies any Goonies have
same
been
frame.
in the same frame
Wow.
of a movie.
You did research?
I didn't need to do research. Well, I researched that, but I knew immediately. I was like, "There's two Goonies together."
Yeah, I knew. I knew. You looked
Well,
familiar.
there's so much time left because Goonies never die, so it can
That's
happen.
true. That's true. But then when I went and looked it up, and I saw that was the one and only time it's
Okay.
happened, and it's Josh Brolin. Any of the major stars of Goonies have
And
never
a
been.
lot of them have done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they've done tons of stuff. And what's interesting is now this year, both of them were up and won Oscars. Ki-Hugh Kwan and Brendan Fraser in real life for The Whale and Everything Everywhere All
Okay.
at Once. And here they are in this movie together
Nice.
doing a scene way back in 1992. When at the time, Pauly Shore is probably the biggest star in the movie.
Right.
And these two guys were going to go on and win Oscars later.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right?
Goonies never say die, by the way.
That's
I
right.
shouldn't have said just without the word say.
No,
Sorry.
it's all good. Don't worry about it. Everybody here on the internet is super forgiving about that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
they are.
And nobody would have mentioned it.
Nobody would have been
Nobody
mad.
would mentioned it at all.
Never, ever, ever. There is a scene that I think they intended to hit hard, but I just don't think it does, where he has this breakdown in a museum.
Yeah.
There's like a caveman. That's field trip to the museum, and there's and the science teacher, I should say, Rick Duneman, I think is the actor's name.
Yep.
First time we've seen him since Ghost in the Machine. He was the one of the tech guys in that. Great actor, a little character actor that's in I think 2 scenes in this movie, but I like him. Anyway, that's an aside. They're doing this field trip to the museum, and there's this whole caveman exhibit. And this now, finally, after how long it's been, weeks at this point, he has a mental breakdown when he sees all this caveman stuff. And I just don't understand how it would have hit home for him. We even have, I think, Stoney saying, he knows, man.
Yeah.
He knows what's
Yeah,
happened.
he says
man.
he knows. Yep.
I don't know that he would know.
I don't know how he would know.
No.
I think he would just be utter and complete confusion as to.
Right.
I think if you see the real life stuffed animals of the things that you were hunting, that could have made you scared. But I don't
Yeah.
think he'd be like, wow, wait a minute. I have frozen from, I don't.
I have traveled through time, and
Yeah.
now I'm here 50,000 years later, or
Yeah.
however long it's been.
I would have thought he would have went and grabbed a spear from the display and thrown it at the mammoth.
Right.
That would have been hilarious.
And then tried to eat it, barbecue it, and eat it.
Right.
Right.
Well, he's starting his fire back in there. Yeah.
I guess they wanted to have an emotional beat here for him, or some kind of realization of the toll that it's taken on him,
Yeah.
mentally. But I just don't know how you get there given the parameters of at least what you've set up.
Being how cool he was with everything else that has happened. Yeah, it's like, this breakdown would have happened way sooner and at way less cost.
Right. I mean, he's doing the hip-hop dancing. He's popular. He's doing cave drawings on computers.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get Matt Wilson who sees him getting upset and crying. And because he sees Link crying in the museum, they go break into the school to go steal records.
Yeah. To figure out who this guy is.
Right.
Why? And these idiots couldn't break into a 24-hour 7-Eleven.
Because they needed something.
let alone the high school records office.
They need to make this guy because I think they figured at this point they had built Link up this really endearing character, right? Now you got to have the villain go do something ultra douchey, so they go look up his vaccination records from the vet.
This is where the seams of the crappy writing and half-assed directing are starting to show.
Yeah.
Where you're like free of any logic or motivation of him.
Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, why are they breaking? Because I thought they were going to change, like, he's like pissed at Dave because Robin broke up with him. So I'm going to go and show Dave. I'm going to go and change his records. No, they're going to let's look up what this Link is all about.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it didn't make any sense at all.
All right. So we get the scene now where and I thought they went everywhere with him, but apparently he has driver's ed without either Link or without
and they weren't
Stoney
worried
or
about
Dave.
it. They were actually not concerned. Like, he'll be fine.
Fine. He's only obsessed with Rad Racer.
Red Machine.
Red Machine. So the douchebag driver's ed instructor, who was still not as bad as the driver's ed instructor we had in high school.
Oh, no.
Mr. Ring? Who'd you have?
I had Woods.
Oh, Mr. Woods, yeah.
Yeah, he was awful. I mean, he was like the brake. He thought it was funny to hit the brake on you with the tiniest thing. He'd yell at you. It was the worst.
That's a jackass.
Oh, you had Ring. You lucked out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since I was in sports anyway, so life was easy.
So for me, I watched this and I was like, oh, that's a really nice driver's ed teacher.
Mine was cool.
Total tool. You had a good one?
I had a good one.
That's when they still don't even teach it in school anymore. At least not here in Burlington.
They don't.
You have to do it independently. It's not part of the
I never had it
curriculum.
in school.
You didn't have it in school either?
Like they didn't back then.
Oh, wow.
See? Okay.
In Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, y'all had cars out there back then?
What I like about Pennsylvania is you can put it into any song that says California because there's so many more. The syllables line up. So it's Pennsylvania love.
I wish they all could be Pennsylvania girls.
Oh, wow.
Nope, just me.
I mean, 100% of the Pennsylvania girls I know are just a delight.
They are.
Right,
They're really the
100%.
best.
100% of them.
Right. 1 for 1.
That's it.
But if I meet one more, it's going to be 1 for 2 probably.
Probably.
Wow.
I'm assuming
I'm
you know
special.
other people from
You're one in a pair.
All right.
Yeah.
Actually, I know.
It's like,
a lot of
of the
us.
two I know, you're the...
It's a pretty big state.
All right, so
Yeah.
so they look out. Stoney and Dave look out the window and see Link about to get into a car, driver's ed.
Yeah.
And they both freak out and leave their own classroom mid-class.
They made it in time. It was really
made it
far.
jump through the
So
windows.
far.
To get in, he dives through the back. Dave dives through the back window of the car to get in.
Into Robin's...
It's the most obvious stunt person ever because the director doesn't cut. Did you see this? The jump in and then it cuts to Link in the driver's seat and right behind him is the stunt guy. Just like, hey, how you doing? Like right to camera.
Yep.
Good stuff.
I'm like, bro.
I was like, that's not Sean Astin.
He didn't even.
the craft
It wasn't even
services.
that bad of a stunt. Like just
No.
belly into the door.
Right.
But the car was moving.
No judgment at all, barely. Yeah, I mean, Pauly Shore ends up in the back or in the front seat, no problem. Robin's in the back seat. The only one hanging half out of the car is Dave.
Like straight up. in
Sean
the air.
Astin,
Straight
stunt
up.
man.
They stayed up, and they ended up. How'd they get the car up on 2 wheels? That's I didn't remember how that happens.
Well, if you were in the olden days, that's what Cro-Magnon men would do.
Right.
Obviously with the Stones. I'm not sure that's the right kind of dude.
the
Neanderthal,
Flintstones,
maybe?
the pedal cars with the Flintstones.
Right.
But when you're riding a T-Rex, it's only 2 legs.
Right.
So
Especially
you got
when
to
they
get
put
the
the-
car up on 2 wheels.
Modern
Yeah.
Stone Age
Well,
family.
especially when they put the rack of ribs on the side of the car
Right,
and then it
that's
flips
it.
up on its side.
It is.
From the bedrock.
Encino. They're up on the Pennsylvania girl.
Yeah. I wish. Oh, wait. We already did that.
Yeah, so Link ends up with the car on 2 wheels, and you can totally see the cables keeping the thing on 2 wheels in a few of the shots as this thing drives right out of the campus and right down onto the street and through intersections and all that stuff.
Yep.
It's, I gotta imagine it's not possible to drive
Yes,
on
it
two
is.
wheels that far.
Absolutely.
That distance?
Around a track, around everything. I didn't see any cables. It may have been. They may have
Oh, yeah,
used
they were
them.
there. They
I
were
didn't
there.
see it because, to me personally, I've seen enough stunt shows live in my life where they
cool.
come up on a ramp and stuff
Yeah.
like that. If you overinflate the tires, these guys are that good. You steer into the ground, the car turns right. You steer away from the ground, the car tips more up and turns back to the left.
And they just balance
You
it.
can absolutely drive it around like a motorcycle.
They were having the
Too.
time of their life that day. Like, why
But
not?
he's never driven anything except for a video game before, which has no feel
Yep.
of gravity. And yeah,
None of that
Great
stuff.
job for a brand new
Yeah,
driver.
but he makes bowls.
Yeah.
That's what he
So-
does. He's a bowl maker.
He's a bowl maker.
So they stop off at El Crib.
And then
Oh
he
my gosh,
parallel
El
parked
Crib.
it.
He
I
parallel
Don't forget about how he parallel parked it.
Did you see all the tire marks on the street from however many times they had to do that turn in?
Sometimes.
Oh, no. That's funny.
Tons of them. Oh. Yeah, it's great stuff. And I'm like, well, this wasn't the first take.
Nope.
And yeah, they go to El Crib. You were saying something about El Crib.
I just think the name is fantastic. It's just fantastic.
You know, that means the crib.
It's the crib.
It's Spanish.
It's Spanish for the
Yeah.
crib. They get. Why are they going here?
reason.
Why?
No reason.
There's no reason for this scene to have. I mean, we meet Enrique. So first, the timing of the characters makes no sense.
No.
Pauly Shore goes in. He sits with these three guys.
Who were cute.
Enrique. I think they. I don't know.
This was the most random
They definitely had
scene of the movie.
Jobs.
They owed this guy money. It's like, I'll put you in the movie. Just
It's the middle of the day.
Right.
These guys are all
I
in the
guess
bar
they were
drinking.
trying to really set this like for a high school crowd to enjoy the film. What would be so exciting is to go into a bar and drink tequila.
Right.
Be
With
so
Mexican
crazy.
gangsters.
Right.
So crazy.
Right.
Right.
Right. That's what, like with the cartel members that are in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
hey,
They-
you see that girl over there, Weasel?
yeah. That Enrique is the leader of these three
That's the character name.
guys. This guy's
Yeah.
name
Okay.
is Enrique.
Okay.
Yeah. You thought I was just calling him Enrique?
You know, it's good.
Wow, Nicole.
Or maybe it was the actor that you had looked
Oh,
up.
no. That was the character's name.
Yeah.
Enrique wants you to know two things. Do you see his girl and don't look at her?
Right.
Right.
Those two things don't jive together.
Look at my girl over there. Don't you even look at her.
Right.
Wait, what?
At her. He's got this girl who's positioned for people to look at.
Right.
I mean, she's sitting on top
Literally
of the bar.
there, like
Right?
she's on top of a rock and
Like she's about to
watching
do a
motorbikes.
photo shoot,
She really sits on that rock, as Bob would say.
as Bob would say. He ends up doing all these shots of tequila, Stoney does, with these guys.
Yeah. Doesn't affect him though at all.
And
Yeah,
then,
same guy.
however, much later, Robin and Dave walk in the door. Like they just got there.
Yeah.
And he's already drunk having done all this tequila.
Well, I think this is what I thought. Later, when they walk in, she's like holding his arm.
and they're holding hands.
Right. So I
under
was like,
his arm.
maybe we're supposed to assume outdoors before the bar, they're like, listen, I've always loved you. Kind of me too. Let's go hold arms.
Yeah, so they skipped this super
really
important,
arms.
relevant scene.
Yeah.
And they were just out there for a long time.
Like it's the first guy who edited this movie.
Yeah.
It's his first movie he ever edited. And he just forgot to
Boring.
put it in.
It's in the director's cut.
He's like,
damn
this
it.
scene's a snooze fest. Cutting this out. More of Enrique and the tequila shots and his girl.
They
and
labeled the clip wrong and just put the wrong scene in.
Link is just doing his Link thing. He's running around dancing with everybody having a good
Yeah.
time. He ends up dancing with Enrique's muchacha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The muchacha.
And,
right.
and then he comes in like a wrecking ball at the end, hanging
he
from the
does.
ceiling.
And Enrique stops him because he sees him dancing with his girl, and he's like, "I'm going to kill you, man." And earlier in the movie, they were in Spanish
Spanish,
class,
yeah.
and they remember back in the day when you have to wear the headphones and repeat after the guy would be like,
I didn't
"Yeah,
go
that's
to a
what
rich.
this the chick is."
I didn't go to a rich school with that.
You didn't. We
no,
had
we had to do it
headphones.
old-fashioned way.
You had
Listen and
headphones?
We
repeat
had
after the
headphones.
teacher.
Yeah.
What?
At the high school, there were headphones.
I took German. We had no headphones.
We had Spanish, bro. There were headphones.
It's unbelievable.
Last classroom, second floor, the cafeteria, all the way down.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and you'd sit there and you'd listen on the headphones, and it'd be
I
like,
took German too. They're
Yeah.
crapping on the
Racist.
German takers.
and there'd be the voice would be like, it would go, "¿Quieres uno cuantos de cheques?" Would you like to open a checking account? Right? Like it was like that was how the whole class.
The cheese is old and moldy.
And so in this movie, yeah, it was
Where
cheese
is the bathroom?
And where is the bathroom? The cheese is old and moldy. Where is
You're
the
right.
bathroom?
You're right, S.A. She's not worth it.
So he just says that. He just says that to him. After he says, "I'm going to kill you," he says in Spanish, "The cheese is old and moldy. Where is the bathroom?" And for some reason, Enrique, like it clicks with him.
Right.
You're right, man. She's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a metaphor about her being cheese, the old and moldy.
That's what I'm saying.
I am wondering. I didn't know.
You're right, man. She's 15 years older than me.
Gross.
So she comes over and slaps him, and he starts
She
to
said
cry.
gross because
and
she
this
thought
is
you
one
were
of the
gonna
funniest
end it.
things in the movie.
His friends like console him.
Come here, Vato.
And then they give him a ride home.
I enjoyed
All
it.
that stuff. And then the cops show up. Why are the cops raiding El Crib?
Well,
In the middle of the
do
day,
yell-
because high
Immigration.
schoolers there.
They yell immigration too. I think they're just saying that word though. But
Yeah.
But they're just literally going, it's a raid. Like, is this
Middle
bar
of the
operating in the
day.
middle of the day?
Before.
We can't have this.
Well, we serve minors and probably undocumented illegals.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they go in there and everyone takes off. Dave says to Stoney, get Robin out of here. And it's only Dave and Link that get arrested at El Crib and end up in jail.
Yeah.
And Dave uses his only phone call to call Robin and ask her to the prom. Now, normally you'd be like, that's stupid. But they were just in there holding hands.
I guess
Yeah.
called holding arms. It
Holding
wasn't even
arms.
him.
So they set it up.
Well, no, she had her arm. I looked. She had her arm folded under his, and their hands were clasped together. So they were definitely holding hands.
Yeah.
And he asks her to the prom, and she says no.
I want to go with Link.
She wants to go with the caveman.
And then she's like, I'll go with both of you.
And she is a terrible person right there because her friend called dibs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. You can't disrespect the dibs.
There
The
was
best
dibs.
friend. The best
Best
friend.
friend. Unbelievable.
And the other thing, how did they not know Link wasn't from Estonia after he got arrested? Don't they kind of check your records
was a busy
when you
day.
get arrested?
They fingerprint him. He's not in
Right.
any database.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a driver's license.
He didn't have any fingerprints. They were
like-
frozen off for 4,000 years. There
The
weren't
officers
any.
are just, they're booking him are just, yeah, that checks out. He's fine.
That's fine.
Hey, he's got this temper and friggin' rabies shots. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's,
And if they
he's
did a
got all
DNA,
his shots.
now they collect DNA from people when they get processed.
Right.
So now they'd be like, this guy's DNA sequence is 1.
Yeah,
like-
last time we saw this, it was in a mosquito that was frozen in amber.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. So, all right. Dave calls. He gets shot down. And what does Dave do? He's like, well, if she wants to go to Link to the prom, I'm going to abandon him on the side of the road.
Oh,
Yep.
Dave.
Dave, what the hell, bro? All right.
Bruh.
You thaw this guy out. You try to use him for popularity. You fail miserably because you suck as a human.
Yes.
So you pack him up a backpack full of snacks from the gasser, and you just drop him off on a country road.
And you give him a handful of quarters for
Give him a handful of quarters for Rad Machine.
Yeah.
Red machine.
All because you have competition now for a girl.
Yeah. Which
He'll
is
do anything. He doesn't
the
care about
most
anyone.
ridiculous
Right.
thing.
A girl that sucks by all accounts.
Yeah. Two-dimensional guy.
A girl who
Pretty much.
doesn't even respect dibs.
That's what I'm saying. She's a dick.
Girls
so, like-
before cavemen.
Right?
Doesn't rhyme, but it works.
But who shows up here?
Stoney?
Not Stoney.
Not
Wow.
Pauly Shore
Pauly
shows
Shore
up.
shows
The
up.
worm.
Shows
the
up.
weasel. The weasel is not here.
No.
At this moment,
They
puts
fight
in
about
3
it.
minutes right here of
Of
actual acting work.
Was it acting work? I mean, he comes and he's like, "You're the one that's been wheezing his gig, man," and you know,
Right.
all that
Right.
stuff.
But like 50% of the ridiculousness is gone in this moment.
That's
like when he's
true.
given
But
this
it's a
seal.
serious moment.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
he
what
puts in this serious moment.
I was thinking about this as I was putting this together, and I thought to myself, "What if 100% of the goofiness was gone? What if he went full dramatic style reading
Okay.
in this last scene?
Okay.
How cool would that have been if he dropped the whole thing?
Yeah.
Right? And all of a sudden he was just like, "You're the one that's been wheezing off his gig, man. If you were edged because Robin won't gnaw on your beak, just chill. Find another nug to wheeze, but don't tax my gig so hard, man. You were my brother." What if he just went full on?
He would have won an Oscar that year.
Tears
That would have been ridiculous,
Everything.
dude.
I can see it.
would have been incredible.
Yeah.
Right?
Best male actor for the year. For that
Right.
1992.
Look at the range. Look at the range of this
The full
guy.
tears. You wheezed his gig.
Hell, even if Beastmaster tears.
You know, it's funny. I looked at the
The
IMDb. In the IMDb, there's a lot of different people who have smaller roles, right, as you go down
Yes.
the line and things. And a bunch of women were some kind of nug.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yes,
Multiple
Betty
Nug.
Nug.
Kinds of
Wheezing his
nugs.
nug.
Yeah.
Multiple nugs.
And that's what I'm saying. You know,
I might go use that
find
now,
another nug to wheeze.
Yeah.
Right?
Nugs.
Anyway, they have this kind of fight where he literally has Pauly Shore's lip is bleeding because they're fighting.
Yeah.
And all the ridiculousness aside, Brendan Fraser's reaction, his emotional reaction was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he grabs them away from each other,
Yep.
and it's all in just his face, and you can see the like you can read just on his face that he's disappointed that his brothers are, he's like grabs the blood off of Pauly's lip and shows it to him, and the whole thing was incredible.
Yeah.
That'll never get recognized in a stupid comedy like this by anybody.
No. I like that scene. I noticed it right away. I was like, that was a really.
I meant
cool
critically,
scene.
yes. I mean, we notice it, but I'm just like,
I know what
but
you're
like
saying.
critically, I mean, he's not going to get props for that. I mean, that's
Obviously, it was only 14% of the critics that liked it.
Awesome
Critics that liked
stuff.
this, so
They didn't get that far in the movie.
they turned it off. Oh, it's Pauly. They saw when it said Pauly
But
Shore
I did
on
wonder
the
when he took the
opening
blood
credits.
off of Stoney's lip. I wondered if he was going to either like eat it or wipe it on
Start
his face,
drawing.
or
Right.
like I didn't. I honestly, for a half second,
That would have been
didn't know.
fair. He would have wiped it on his face like war paint and beat
Or
both their
drawn.
asses.
I don't know. Just for a second there.
so we get to the prom finally. Good Lord, let's get to this. Let's cross the finish line with
Link's
Encino
hair was
Man.
perfectly 90s.
You thought it was
It
good, right?
absolutely was.
I mean, I didn't like it,
I think
but it was
his hair
perfectly
in this
90s.
movie
there
in
was
general.
so much 90s hair in this movie.
Robin wants Dave to go too. She shows up to pick up Link. Dave's like, no, I've had a change
I'm
of heart.
grounded.
I'm grounded. I'm under probation, for underage drinking or whatever, even though he didn't have anything. So he's staying home.
Just walked in.
Oops. Meanwhile, Matt Wilson and his goons, who had, like I said, broken in and gotten the records, Matt Wilson crawls up into Link's room, loses a fight with a hammock.
Yeah.
Right?
I was hoping he was going to get choked out by that hammock.
Yep.
Just the hammock one. Maybe think of Odell Beckham losing to a kicking net. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Awesome.
And the lamp. The lamp,
The
too.
lamp beat him up.
The lamp got him too. Yeah.
Lamp got him.
You're right.
And then ultimately, he's able to find the pictures of Link in frozen status
Yep.
in the garage,
Which were marked.
Ice Cube
which were
Link.
marked to clearly spell out what had
Right.
happened.
Ice Cube Link.
Link while he's still frozen.
Link after.
Link after.
The end. We have science.
Link's bath time.
Right.
Margarita Glass Link. Link after.
Dave and Stoney try to chase after him, and they chase him all the way to the prom, where Matt has run in as Link's about to be crowned prom king, supposedly, by Ki-Hu Kwan. He runs up on stage and grabs the microphone, and he's going to give this big speech, and he's, I think he did a really good job, and he was just going, shush!
Yeah.
This man, he goes through this whole thing, you should deserve to know who he really is. He's a caveman, and no one gives a shit.
He's a caveman.
I think it sounds amazing.
They all start cheering.
Just like, yeah, all right. It's like, no, you don't understand. And he punches Matt, and this is where Link actually gets his back at this point, right? And Dino Bravo's him right off and onto the cake next to the stage and takes out Matt, and even does a little like kung fu movie bow right before that and everything. And then we get the Feed the Monkey dance number.
Yeah.
Got to have it, right? It's a 90s movie after all.
Everyone knoes it.
Not just everyone
Apparently.
knows it.
He
No
knew
one
it.
knows it.
And they knew it way back.
Not at first. This is what's so funny about this is it's just Brendan Fraser dancing around. Then Sean Astin says the line. He turns to Robin and he goes, watch this. Like, I'm going to create a line dance with my brain. He starts doing it, and then everyone else does.
Telepathically sends
So Sean
out
Astin,
the instructions on how to do this dance.
first
Very
of all,
impressive.
the 90s had a weird obsession with line dancing, okay?
Don't break my heart.
They thought it was like
Breaky heart.
the greatest thing ever. I do
Electric
like
slide.
that Sean Astin did the typical white guy thing where he got the arms up real high to keep him out of the way of his legs so they could do their thing, while he's doing this whole line dance. It was hilarious.
You're always ready for a fight.
That's why you're always ready. He's like, got to keep him up here so I can do my legs right. They do this whole leg dance. They do this whole line dance, and they go back and have a muddy hole party.
Yeah.
Basically.
With
At his house.
beautifully clear water.
Yes,
Right. Perfectly clear.
perfectly clear water. I had to go back and look. I thought the pool was finished.
Right.
Right, based on the scene, but then you go back and you have to. They do it so quick. They're smart. They're like, we're not showing this for very long.
Nope.
You can tell it's just still a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
But what's cool is someone has taken the time to install like lights over the pool.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it a whole party.
To make it
theme.
really, really nice
Yeah.
and classy. Dave and Robin share their first kiss at the dirt-filled water party,
Yay.
and then suddenly we see footprints
Right.
and boob prints.
Where are they going to get boob prints?
Yes.
That would totally be a thing.
just pressed up against
Oh, a glass
against the
window.
glass. Yeah.
Yeah. What up?
and Stoney and Link realize there's another cave person, run up to Dave's room because apparently that's where they all go.
That's where they go.
And she's in the tub
Dave's
already.
room.
She knew right where
She's
the
already in the bathtub.
bathtub was. Yeah.
She gets in the bathtub, and we realize that this is the girl that he was with way back in the
He
beginning.
full
also
cannonballs
froze.
into the tub with her.
He does.
Yeah.
He jumps in there hard. And she recognizes him even though he looks like a 90s person.
Yep.
Right? She's immediately
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, it's you.
There's no water spilling anywhere because she filled
It's
it
just
up.
all foam.
It's
nicely.
all bubbles.
Right.
All yeah.
And she figured that out.
And that the girl is Sandra Hess.
I know. Yeah. I had
That's-
to look her up.
Andrea von Strucker from Nick Fury
yep.
that we just did a few episodes ago. She played the villainess in that movie. And here she is as Cave Nug is
Nug.
her name.
Cave nut.
In the movie. Cave Nug. Gotta love it. And that's how the movie ends, guys.
Sweet.
Why?
Incredible.
Why does he get the girl, man? It's not fair.
Oh, they're both dicks.
He shouldn't have got the girl.
All right, guys, it's time to give this movie some awards. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So, you may have noticed that there's been a sudden shift or shuffle in here. Clint Busch has moved over. He's still here. Say hello, Clint. Oh, hold on. Now say hello.
I don't have a microphone.
Now your microphone
I was going to
works.
say, I'm probably silent.
Clint is still here. He's over at the kids' table. And joining us for the first time ever live in person is Melissa Hewitt. Welcome to the show, Melissa.
Thank you. Second time on the show,
That's
but I
right.
was in California.
That was way back on Galaxy Quest.
Yep,
Wow.
my favorite movie.
And it's Charles's better half. And so it's been
Way
a long
better
time
half.
coming, but we're happy that you're here.
I mean, we like Charles, but
That's right. Melissa's also participated a few times as a patron for awards. And so you were scheduled to do awards as a patron for this one. I'm like, well, let's just do it live, right? You just had knee surgery.
Yes.
And so there's only 1,000 stairs to climb out there. What's the big deal?
Well, it was very, very worth it because this movie holds a very special place in my heart. I have my own Chuck Tail for this movie.
Oh, please. hit us with it.
yes.
Melissa Tales. Let's
Tales.
do it.
So this movie I picked this guy up at a student government camp when I was in high school.
This
I
is
should
not
make sure I
Charles.
say that. Not Charles.
Not
Okay.
Charles.
And
Was he named Link?
Yep.
Go ahead.
His name was Scott Roby. So hey, Scott Roby,
Hey,
if you're
Scott.
out
All
there.
right.
And
She's been looking for you for 30 years.
no, we found him on Facebook because I'll tell you a surprise afterwards. So I went back to my parents' house. My sister was there watching this movie for most of the time, and I was like, "Come on, little sister, move on,
Yeah.
move on." And she left, and this movie was where I had my first kiss.
Your first kiss.
Sorry, I dropped a water bottle.
No, that's okay.
Yep,
No, you're
my
good.
first kiss during Encino
Because
Man.
your sister finally beat it.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So it was during
This movie bringing people together. Look
at that.
Short term.
Yeah.
That's right. Wheezing a nug over there.
Maybe not quite. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. I love it.
but
No one
the
knows what that
twist, the twist.
No one knows what that means.
Nobody
it's just
does.
what Pauly Shore said.
well,
it's Pauly Shore,
I speak Pauly Shore. No, it was not.
Perfect. I got it.
But the twist is that he was one of Charles's friends in high school.
Whoa.
Dang.
I didn't know that until
You have a type.
later. Apparently, kind of nerdy guys.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, we thank you for being here, Melissa. We're excited. We're going to jump in as we always do. We're going to start with the most prestigious award we give out, the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
Oh, thank you for the head of Will Patton.
All night! If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out.
That's right.
Make sure they remember forever.
The night we wheeze those nugs.
The night they unfroze. Link.
That's right. Will Patton brings intensity every performance he's ever in, no matter what he's doing. And so we give out an award in his honor. Who was your nomination? We'll start. Melissa, let you go last. We'll start at this end. Clint, who is your nomination for the Will Patton Award for intensity?
Intensity here. Brendan Fraser. Like
Yeah.
hardcore all the way through. Full commitment. This was his role. It was his movie. He is the Encino Man.
All right. Strong take. Seems like you didn't even have to hesitate for this one. All right. I love it when it's easy, right?
Yeah, right.
When it's just like so clear cut that I don't even have to sit here and go, who's it going to be?
Sometimes it's easy. And you're wrong. I felt like I've made the right decision right until I've said it. This is not that case.
No.
But I've felt in the past like this is the right decision.
You're like, this is going to be unanimous. And no
everybody in the room is like, you're a moron. That's probably true. Yeah.
All right, Nicole, who'd you have for your nomination?
It's also Brendan Fraser. And I would say he was so intense that's why 7 years later they made another movie where he was transported to a time he didn't understand.
Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past.
That's right.
It was eerily similar.
That and I feel like that movie, George of the Jungle, and Encino Man are like a weird trilogy that all kind of go together.
And I'm sure that happens in Hollywood a lot. They're like, we need a guy and a Brendan Fraser guy. Let's just get him.
Let's just get him.
That's one of my dad's favorite movies. My dad loves rom-coms. My mom was the sci-fi person. So it was really weird when we got married and I didn't understand why Charles didn't like rom-coms and how stoked he was when I was like, let's do a Terminator marathon. And
that's right, because he always tells us how you don't make him watch, as he calls them, chick flicks or anything like that. That's so cool. I also am going to go with Brendan Fraser. The dude was 100% committed. And it's something that back in 1992, whenever I first saw this, it wasn't something that I could have seen or noticed. But now having seen so many of these movies and looked for this type of stuff, it's just incredible what he pulled off in this, thankless. I mean, this was like a Pauly Shore vehicle, and Brendan Fraser outshines him, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To Clint's point, this one was easy. Brendan Fraser. I mean, you have movies where people have tons of dialogue and cannot get across the intensity that Brendan Fraser does in this movie with minimal dialogue and just going off of just his facial expressions and his physical comedy and physical reactions.
It's disappointment. It is
all
love,
that stuff.
even.
It's all
legitimately the whole thing.
And even when the breakdown at the museum didn't really hit, it wasn't because of anything he did. It was just from a script standpoint.
They just didn't do it right.
They didn't set it up enough.
To do what he did with just facial expressions and all that was, and get across kind of how he was feeling or what he was thinking in that manner was just fantastic.
Now, don't feel pressure, Melissa, that just because we've all picked Brendan that you have to also.
But there are right
I
answers.
did, not just because I've been a big Brendan Fraser fan since the beginning, but I watched some stuff. Well, I've watched a lot of stuff about him, but he talked about how he loved like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. But he said for this role particularly, he said it's just about everything you can know about acting is from Looney Tunes. And he showed some split screen stuff of like when he stepped on the rake and then Bugs stepped on the rake and stuff. And so it was like what you said, the emotion that he carried through, like the part where he stops them from fighting and it's like family and it's his face and his body, getting his body to convey those emotions was really good. So
that's why I think
voted him.
This matches up really well with George of the Jungle, which was a super cartoony thing, but I thought also done really well. All right. Well, at least from the five of us, it's across the board. Let's see what other two patrons that are playing along with had to say today. We got Mike Harding playing along, and it's not going to be unanimous because he went with Enrique.
No, he got the wrong answer.
He said, you can drink his tequila, but don't look at his muchacha. Okay.
But then she's old and moldy
real.
like cheese. She's not worth it.
But that's not real. So I mean, this guy's just wrong.
Oh, Mike just thought Enrique was dialed in.
But you can also cut the mold off of cheese and still eat it. So I don't know what's that say.
And this guy, honestly, here's an exciting thing. We've got Andrew Baltera playing. It's his first time ever.
Andrew.
He just jumped into the Patreon this last month. And so it's his first time doing an awards with us. And so we're excited.
Hi, Andrew.
Hopefully much more from Andrew coming up in the future. But we appreciate you. Andrew gave a shout out to a guy that I also think did really well, even though I don't think he was ever going to beat Brendan. But he gave it to Michael DeLuise.
Okay.
The guy that played Matt Wilson. Shush. Yeah, look, so my thing, before I read what Andrew, not to hijack his thing, I'll say, I forgot to say this before, everybody looked old. It was kind of a thing in the 90s. We cast 24-year-olds to play teenagers, and that's fine. So he definitely looked too old. All that aside, I think he did really well. He says he dove headfirst into the bully role. I didn't quite get his hatred for Dave and Stoney because he and his two buddies seemed to be the only ones who didn't really like them, in the entire school. But he gave it to Michael DeLuise, and I don't hate that pick at all. So
That's
I think it's a
fair
good
pick.
pick, Andrew, for
I
sure.
think the only reason we're supposed to hate him is because he's so insecure about his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the only reason you hate this guy is because he's always talking to your girl and you're not secure enough in your own ability to keep.
I wonder if there was a cut scene when she would talk about him and be like, he's the most fun guy, and we always had fun growing up together. What a guy.
We were naked this one time. And
No
We
positivity.
were naked in a bathtub one time.
Him and his magic staples, too.
Well, he said he knew about his plan. He knew about his in the very beginning when he, staples them, which if you guys didn't go over staple, don't hold to like that.
Thank you. From a teacher. From
Yes,
a
they
teacher.
will.
No.
We're doing it.
He says
Okay.
it's
We're
gonna-
doing it.
I have
Where'd Charles
Manuel
go?
is getting stapled.
Where'd Charles go?
Is lighter.
Yeah.
Charles
Charles-
is getting
Charles back
stapled
here.
to a wall. We need a jean jacket.
I'm busy that day.
Child's
Sorry.
medium.
Well, I use those in my classroom, and I'll tell you, they don't hold everything. So,
See? Oh.
That's what I said. They barely hold paper together.
well, not though. They hold paper. Those
right.
those ones. But anyways, to go back to that, he does
Yes.
say he knew of his plan.
Yeah.
And I think Dave also was kind of a jerk because he's like, you could have had her back in the day, but he was waiting until she turned into a Betty. And
Dave is a huge tool.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. All right. Well, that means with 5 out of 7 votes, it's going to go to Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Well
win.
deserved.
Rhymes with razor.
Yeah, which I didn't know until recently. When he was doing his whole Oscar tour for The Whale or whatever, he corrected the interview. He's like, it's like Razor, it's Fraser. I'm like, oh, I've been calling you Fraser. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do it
Forever.
wrong.
Like Kelsey
I
Grammer.
was doing it wrong.
Toss salads and
Yep.
My whole
scrambled
life.
But I'm going to call
eggs.
Steven Seagal
Calling
Steven
again.
Seagal, damn it.
right. All right. Speaking of Steven Seagal, the next award we give out is to the worst actor in the movie, the one that displayed the acting range of a trash can full of dirt. It's the Steven Seagal Trash Can Full of Dirt.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt. Yeah.
I don't want to.
Guys, neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
Brendan Fraser was frozen at her ice a long time.
I was also
in
a
eternity.
caveman. And
I invented caveman.
he's frozen since the Ice Age. That was a long time. All right. So we'll start again with Clint. Clint, who's your nomination for the Trash Can Full of Dirt?
In this movie in general, I thought it was a little more difficult to find a trash can because I had a lot of fun with a lot of the characters. A lot of the small characters even were. I got to go with the parents though on this one.
Yes.
I know they're supposed to be written to be that dumb, but like legitimately, the actors weren't the problem with it. Just the entire existence of the parents.
Yeah, they were really super easy to gaslight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way too. I don't know. I've got parents. My dad's suspicious of anything going down. Like, legit,
I would have loved
But I'm
having
sure the
parents like
director
that.
was like, come on, just give it more. Be dumber. Come on, you can do it. We want you to be.
Stop thinking.
Right.
That's right. Just empty your brain. Just absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Pretend you're Pauly.
All right, that's 1 vote for the parents. Nicole, who's your trash can nomination?
Well, can I pick wardrobe?
No, you gotta pick on a person.
Because I was like, how'd she get that bra at the end? At the very,
Oh, that's a great point. Whose
Right?
bra is that?
his mother's,
the
maybe?
sister.
She's too little.
Way too young.
Way too young.
Okay, fine. Enrique, I guess.
Enrique.
I guess it was a lot of
Bit of a caricature?
Yeah.
I got you.
If I see anyone looking at my muchacha, he will no longer be recognizable as a man.
I'm going to have Chuck Norris
you did
come
that
dick
better than
punch
he
him.
did.
Gracias.
Okay, look, I went with Megan Ward for this, the girl that played Robin.
Yeah.
I thought she was terrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
She wasn't good at all.
And you know what? She went on to play on 7 years on General Hospital and 7 years on CSI and then 13 on General Hospital.
Yeah, that's probably where she belonged, was the General Hospital level of acting. Respect to those people. They get a paycheck every week. But yeah, not good in this for me at all, from Megan Ward. Ryan?
Like Clint, I had a tough time with this one on trash cans because I did enjoy so many of the performances. I'm going to change mine. At first I had Matt's sidekicks.
Yeah.
They could have been a couple trash. He could have been lugging around a couple trash cans.
Yeah.
I thought about one since you guys been going too, and I'll hit that in a minute.
I'm having a feeling here that we're going to have like 7 different answers.
I don't know.
So I'm going to go with Megan Ward on this one because you're right.
Let's go.
She wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination here.
No. Not at all. It's supposed to be the girl that he's been like every
love
like
interest.
Rob. Yeah, and just a little bit. All right, sorry.
I went with Megan Ward as well.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
There we go.
I don't know
That's
how they-
what's up.
She had
I
no
don't know how they got
personality.
from it. You know? How do you get from I'm going study with this guy, I don't want to go out with you anymore because you hit this guy, but I want to go to the prom with that guy? It's like,
But
what
then
the
But then
We're
she
gonna be
kisses
together.
him
But
at
then
the
she
end,
kisses
and my
him.
daughter was watching, and she said, "Why is she kissing him?" And I said, "Because she saw the pictures of him being a caveman. He was really honest from the beginning. It just really didn't make any sense at all."
No reason.
It's true. It's true. All right, that's 3 for Megan, Megan Ward. Let's see what Mike Harding had to say. He went with Matt Wilson's Thugs.
There you go.
I don't know
We
if
still would have been tied though. So
I don't know if the two of them had names, so I can't really separate them. They both sucked. Yeah, that's a hot.
I don't think they had names. Maybe an IMDb, and that's about it.
Thug Nug.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Rack him up.
Thug Nug 1 and Thug Nug 2.
There you go. Well done. All
right. Andrew came back. He said, Dave's parents. He said, look, they were good at acting as typical movie parents, wrapped up in their jobs. But as a parent to teenagers myself, I get stuff slips through the cracks. But how can you forget about an entire foreign exchange student?
Yeah.
Like
And I don't care if it's a foreign exchange student that's coming. They destroyed the freaking house. You know what I'm saying?
That gets glossed
Somebody's
over
making
totally.
These payments, you know.
All of a sudden, they weren't even pissed about the house when they walked in.
Right.
Oh, what are you doing in here?
right. He turned
Cooking dinner.
He was a boy. And
I'm making glass quesadillas. Look, I got flour and glass.
Flour and
straight
broken
up
crap.
He's
Didn't
not
find the
mad.
flour.
After about 30 seconds, he turns and he goes, "I suppose you're staying for dinner, Stoney." Right? Like,
Yeah.
like it's all good.
Like he does every night. Stoney, you're staying for dinner like you do every night.
Because his mother was like, well, he just called her bummed out. I felt so sad about that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Yeah.
So 3-2, 3 votes for Megan Ward, 2 for the parents. But Megan Ward's ultimately going to win the Steven Seagal trash can filled with dirt award.
Good thing you changed yours.
Yeah, it still would have been tied. Yeah.
Good
Three-way
stuff.
double deadlock.
The next award we give out is in honor of Steve James, the unsung hero of every movie he's ever appeared in. The character that you watch and you go, I wish he was the main character, or he really made this movie better by being in it. So who was the person in a non-lead role that was the unsung hero of this movie? So I think we got like Pauly Shore, Brendan Fraser, Sean Astin off the table. Who'd you
Kashmir
go?
Rajesh.
Kashmir.
And Rajesh, yeah.
And Rajesh, both of them.
Those guys there. Like I said, that the scene in their store, the no wheezing the juice was huge all over.
Yeah.
But legitimately the 1.5 minutes, you know. It's just
2 minutes.
at the end. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah. All right. That's a good vote.
Yeah.
Nicole?
Robin Tunney, I think.
Robin Tunney. Yeah. Ella.
Yeah.
She did good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why she just disappeared at the end of the movie.
She did the small role that she had well. It actually had 3 dimensions to it, I thought.
I thought so too. And then after the scene of the blades, she's just like,
Bye.
gone. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know what else to do with your character, so we're just going to erase all the spots that you're in from
Yeah.
here on out.
They wheezed all the juice out of the character.
Juice out.
I think they had to get rid of her because of the caveman woman or cave woman coming
Right.
back.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
what would you have done?
Well, they could have done a sweet, like, oh, this is the one you were talking about. Never mind. And then go make out with someone else at the party.
Something.
Yeah.
You know what? You guys said Robin was a terrible person. Robin freaking killed her because she had dibs. She killed her to erase the dibs.
You're right. That's true. That's true. I'm telling you, there's
Kids
only
table.
one way
There's
around.
a lot of kids table energy over
There's
here
only
that's just
one way
changing.
around dibs. Death.
Death.
That's
Murder.
it.
That's the
it.
only way.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Dibs are
supersede dibs.
ironclad otherwise. All right.
You're right.
I went with Eric Avari too, who I don't know which one of the two names, like his character names was, but he was
Yeah,
the
the
Don't Wheeze the
littler
Juice
one,
guy.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the guy that would go on to be in The Mummy with Brendan Fraser down the
Okay.
road. So I went with Eric Avari, so we can count that as 2 votes for him. Who do you got as your unsung hero?
Cave Nug.
Cave
Nug.
Sandra Hess.
Sandra Hess.
It's
Cave
because of
Nug.
the boot prints, right? That's the only
That
reason.
sealed it.
It's the
That's
blueprints.
it.
But that's what I told my daughter. I was like, look, you can see the boob prints. That means she came back.
Brian's over here going, best part of the movie.
That's part of the movie.
That's how we leave messages in women's bathrooms.
Yeah. That's why the men don't know.
Can we?
Could
Let's
you
put
imagine
the.
Bob's
we better
Encino
put
Man
the.
tape is just wore out on the boot print? It's like, brr. It goes fuzzy for a second. Like, what the hell is that?
James has died.
I have logged off. I can't.
I'm telling you, it's just unstable energy.
That's how we leave messages in women's bedrooms.
Yep.
There's a whole subculture I didn't know about.
How else will you know someone was there?
Don't know.
I
Is that, they mark their territory that way too.
All right.
Boo prints.
Okay, cool. Melissa, who's your Steve James unsung hero?
I'm sorry. I'm going to laugh so hard I'm going to have an asthma attack. It's not the first time BMR has given me asthma.
I'm sorry.
For laughing.
I'm sorry.
I didn't remember to do it on my way here. So the thing that came to my mind in the beginning was it would be cool to have a movie about the rad machine. Because, you know, the whole Tilton, my daughter was like, you can't do that. And I said, well, when we were in elementary school, these sixth graders, we were in kindergarten, convinced us all when we went around this one corner to all jump to the other side of the bus. And we had our bus on.
That'll happen.
That. And of course, as a kindergartner, I didn't know that was dangerous. I just did what the sixth graders did. So I told her it was actually possible, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't know this either, but Clint was telling us that there's people that can go around tracks like that and do the whole thing.
You can run around an entire racetrack with it. You can
know
drive
what
the
else
car.
is dangerous?
Crazy.
Getting into a limo with a caveman and assuming you'd be fine and arrive.
Be fine. That's a good point too. All right, so I think was that 5 separate votes? I know we had 2 for Eric Avari.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's go to so Mike Harding submitted Raji Eric Avari as his also.
Nice.
Loved the scene in the convenience store. Would have liked to have seen more of him. I think that dude was in there for 1 minute. We needed at least 2 or 3. Get rid of Ella or somebody else.
They
and
need
give
a
us
mini-series,
2 or
dude.
3 more of those 2, because I know the other guy barely had any lines, but he's hilarious in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
There should be a group of shows that just are about actors, like real actors, like these couples from movies, like groups of people from movies, but they go to that gas station. Like they're just fueling up.
Write it down, James.
Bro, the scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin where they're going back and forth arguing about picking up a shift or whatever. Yeah. And that actor says, once I remove my knife from my sheath, it cannot be returned until it has shed blood. Right? Do you remember that?
Buddy.
I love that guy. When I saw him, I immediately was like, it's the 40-Year-Old Virgin guy. Yeah. And Eric Avari also was awesome. So, but with all those votes, Eric Avari is going to win the Steve James Unsung Hero Award. So well deserved there. But he literally, with a minute of screen time, was the unsung hero of the movie. All right, so this next one is totally subjective. It's divorced from quality. So if your favorite performance was, you know, the bra that she had on at the end or whatever, I mean, that's up to you. The magic bra that came from nowhere.
Yeah, surprise.
It's just your 3 favorite performances in the movie. So, Clint, who are your 3 favorite performers?
Number 3, Matt. He's a tool.
Matt Wilson.
Matt Wilson.
Matt
the
Wilson.
bully. Yep. Number 2 is going to go to Pauly Shore.
All right.
And number 1, Brendan Fraser.
All right.
Fraser.
Brendan
I
Fraser.
said it wrong my entire life.
Me too,
buddy.
until like a month ago. Nicole, who's your top 3?
I guess I liked Robin Tunney, so I guess she'll be number 3. Why not?
All
I
right,
think she did great.
perfect.
And then it's a tie for me. It's Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just piggyback right off what you said, because I got those 2 guys, 1 and 2 also, Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore, I want to give some props to, because I know his act got real tired through the 90s, and I went into this fully expecting this to be annoying and stupid. His character was so endearing, so heartfelt, so like just a good dude, just wanted to be people's friends, not use people. And it was just, there were so many times where I'm like, listen to your, I know he talks funny, but he's spitting wisdom. And that's scripts, that's just words on a page, but he played it to the point where that came through, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so he needs more credit. And Pauly Shore killed it in Encino Man. I see now why from this he went on to do much more. And I know, like I said, it got tired. Maybe he should have pivoted sooner and did different types of things. But it works for Encino Man.
And he had good timing as well.
Great timing. Yep. Yeah, great comedic timing. Go ahead, Ryan. Who you guys? Your
All
top
right, so
3.
we got Arnold.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you got
3.
My third one was Richard Mazur. So Richard played the dad.
Okay.
I just love, because maybe it's because I am a dad of teenagers also, but I'm just like, yeah, of course it's the dad that's like, I probably forgot. It was probably my fault.
That's fair. As a dad of teenagers as well. Yeah, that's fair.
I just loved the guy. It was just like, you know, pretty even keeled. And I love the actor. He was in The Thing. He was in, he played Stanley Uris in the original Tim Curry It miniseries. He was one of He was one of the adult versions of the kids in that. I just always loved that actor. I thought he did good in this. His character was an idiot, but he did good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Honorable mention to Arnold as the Terminator.
Yes.
How did I not think to do that?
And Pauly's sign off at the end. He skipped over.
I'm number 3. Okay.
Otherwise, mine are exactly what Clint's were. So Michael DeLuise at 3, Pauly Shore at 2. I was the same way, right? Because I just remember being so tired of Pauly Shore by the time the 90s were over. I just went into this like, I'm just going to hate him. But I actually liked his character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he did fantastic in number 1, Brandon Fraser.
Yeah, and man, DeLuise's have yet to disappoint us on this show.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Him and his brother so far have done great in every. How'd they not have huge careers? I don't understand.
Right.
Because I think they're better than their dad.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Dom was kind of like a Pauly Shore, like a one-trick kind of pony.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he rode that for a long time, but he did his thing. All right, Melissa, who's your top 3?
So I don't know what came before this in the show, just for everyone to know.
No, I know. It's okay.
For number 3, I picked Sean Astin. And because I know, but here's why. I've been listening to this a guy on TikTok, Dusty Thunder, and he does all those AITA, am I the a-hole? And I was watching it and I just kept thinking, wow, Dave's character would totally be the a-hole. Like, that's who he is. But Sean played it well. I mean, he was coming out of being a kid still. He was the youngest of them.
Yeah.
All of the stuff he'd done before was as a child. So this was like him kind of like trying to be more.
And I'm sure they were like, great job, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, can I tell you this?
But his character was a jerk and he played a jerk.
He did not want to do the movie.
Really? I did not know that.
They came at him with, I think it was $150,000 plus $400,000 on the back end. He said no. He thought the script was dumb. Once he saw they gave him a tape of Pauly Shore, like, this is who you're going to star with.
Yeah.
Thought he was terrible. Didn't want to do it. Then they came at him with $250,000 and whatever else on the back end. Finally says yes, but it like prejudged the script, prejudged his co-star. Really, I think he kind of mailed it in, thinking this is going to suck.
The suckiness of.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So he wasn't just playing the a-hole, he was.
I feel like he just was. I think
take your money.
he's way better than that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he just mailed it in because he prejudged the project, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
I just think that
you
the
know what I
stuff
mean?
he did in that age, until he got it back in and did 50 First Dates, he was really wishy-washy then. So I thought,
for sure.
he played what he played.
He was awesome in 50 First Dates.
I know. He was so awesome.
He was great in that,
And
for
my
sure.
daughter was like, oh, it's Bob from Stranger
It
Things.
is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then number 2, actually going Brendan Fraser, because Pauly Shore had such heart in it. And I loved Pauly Shore back then, even though he was annoying. Like, he was, but like, we would always practice trying to do the weasel
I
noise
can't do the
and all
weasel
that,
noise
though.
I can't
after
do
all
it.
of that.
Yeah.
I still can't do it.
And we would practice that and stuff. And so when he was having all these like real sentimental moments, like what I said, he talked about his mom, and even though he just said she's bummed out, like she's dealing with mental illness or some sort of depression, even alcoholism, and he's also talking about family. And when Dave tries to white fang Link, I was like, are you kidding me? Go away.
I know, white fang him. I like
Amazing.
that.
Well, that's the in that scene. You see him driving away, and Pauly's showing up, and like they just drive off. Like, where are you going? But you think that scene's going to happen, and he's just going to ditch him out. The fact that he shows up there actually makes that scene just so much less trash the movie.
Yeah, so here's what the patrons had to say. Mike Hardy went with Michael DeLuise, number 3. I like that he's getting a lot of love here. I hated him. I wanted to punch him in his stupid face, so I guess he did his job. And number 2 went with Brendan Fraser. And number 1, Pauly Shore. He said, more often than not, when I was laughing at this movie, it involved Pauly Shore. So Pauly gets another number 1 spot there.
Yeah.
And then Andrew went with number 3, Sean Astin and Pauly Shore. Love them both, so it's a tie. Number 2, Michael DeLuise. Great job at just being a total jerk. And then number 1, he went with Brendan. He said, awesome job with mainly having to use body language and facial expressions, and props there for Andrew. So I think that's also a great pick across the board on these number 3s.
There was one part when I didn't mind Sean Astin's character because I thought they actually were bonding. I thought they were brothers, by the way, at first. I couldn't figure out if I didn't realize it was a friend next door. And Pauly Shore was like, I'm popular. And he's like, yeah, you travel in large circles of one, large groups of one. And I was like, okay, it was a good line, but also it they were gelling at that moment. They actually had chemistry, and then it kind of went away.
I think it kind of went away. Yeah, I don't want to do this because I think Pauly Shore did a great job. But can you just imagine this for a second? Listen to me very carefully. Okay. It's important that you do not wheeze on my nugs. Okay.
I need you to sing
All right.
the Pauly Shore song as Arnold. I will write all of the lyrics down for you later. I need you to practice this. It needs to happen.
He's gnawing on my beak. Stop it.
Did that mean kissing someone?
I think it meant kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But could you just imagine Arnold? But let's say they just left it written for Pauly Shore, and just have Arnold do the dialogue.
Pauly Shore.
I mean, it just dawned on me now. At the time, I was like, "Here's like, do not. I'm going to wheeze the juice. Bah, D." So stupid. Originally, I was going to be like, just have him come in as the Terminator. How great would that have been? And been like, they're in Encino, California. What if Link just brings Arnold in and he sees him?
I would be back.
Forget about Brendan being a caveman. It's a freaking Terminator from a Terminator movie that's frozen in the ground. And not a caveman at all.
I don't know. Brendan Fraser. No, I mean, you saw him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I did it. Wait, what?
I mean,
look, it's our foreign exchange student from Austria.
Yeah, right. There you go.
you want a sad note was when I was in high school, I didn't know when I first saw the movie that Estonia was a real place. I thought
they made it up.
Stone Age.
Stone Age, and his name was Stony, but he never, he was smart, which that was a surprise. He loved Jeopardy. But yeah, I thought Estonia wasn't real. I really struggle with geography, so I felt really, really dumb when I found out it was real. And then I said to myself about those parents, like, how would they have not known? And I went, they couldn't have even Googled, like, the Estonian language. Did you guys say that?
No, they'd have to go to the library and check out the Encyclopedia Britannica and go look up Estonia.
And then find out what language.
And all that stuff,
yeah,
right?
So, yeah.
There was no way these people were going to do that. No, for sure. So, yeah, I think, and even Mike Harding said he already made it better by appearing on the TV and saying, I'll be back. I think Arnold, he's already made the movie better. I think this is just another example of even the director here going, we need to stick Arnold in this movie or we're going to be in trouble.
We're not even going to pay him. We're just going to pay movie rights for something he's already been in.
Second movie in a row that needed more Arnold in to make it better.
Right, Red Sonja.
Just came off of Red Sonja.
We got to put him in as much of this movie as we possibly can. 'Cause it's rough. They even got Brendan acting like he's Arnold in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be back. All right, guys. So ultimately, we've got to land on something here. We have to come to a final determination. Is this a good movie? Is it a bad movie? Or is it a bad movie that rules? Clint, we're going to start with you. Where do you land on Encino Man?
I don't want to call it a bad movie because I love it, but there are issues with the directing choices and stuff like that. It is a bad movie. This movie rules. I love it. I've loved it a long time, and I will continue to.
All right. Fair enough. Nicole?
It's hard to decide, right? The fact that the director didn't have them even wonder if there were more things buried under the ground, that made me mad. I just wanted to say that.
Right.
And the fact that they didn't assume that riding roller coasters would kill someone who was just 3 days melted. But apart from that, with that in mind, I guess I should say, I think it's a bad movie that rules.
Okay. I'll take it. Look,
he should have died so many times.
Or killed somebody.
Sure. Also that.
Yes.
Death should have happened.
He's a pacifist.
Right.
Okay.
They said it in the movie.
I know, that's true. Look, I think this is a weak script. It's weak. It's weakly directed. He went on to become a more competent director as he went on. So I don't want to be too harsh on the guy. It was his first movie, but you give anybody $7 million, you better know what you're doing to make a film. So that aside, that's why I'm saying it's a bad movie for those reasons. But for just Brendan and Pauly, they make the thing fly. Ultimately, it's seaworthy, just based on those two guys' performances by itself.
And us watching how much fun they're having.
Yes, without those two guys doing their thing, this is a pile of dog crap. Okay.
Oh no, we're about to hear about that.
We're going to hear about that in a second. But it's amazing to me how just two performances like that can save a terrible script that makes no sense and a bad movie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
it's ultimately ridiculous. So this is the one where you're giving your dog the torture rack in the backyard.
Yeah.
What?
You've got
We have the dog on
where
his
had the
shoulders.
dog when Brendan Fraser had his dog.
That's
the dog
the
on
Lex
his shoulder.
Luger
my
torture.
goodness.
That's a Lex
Did I
Luger
also-
torture rack.
Did I say bad movie that rules? I don't know if I officially
You
said
didn't,
it.
but we got
Okay,
it.
bad movie that rules.
Okay,
Sorry,
it's on
go
the
ahead.
record now. So you got your dog in the torture rack in the backyard. You're acting out some Encino Man. You're wearing a sweater your mother-in-law got you for Christmas, like ugly Christmas sweater thing. Well, you got your dog in a torture rack. He's just shitting down your back, but you don't care because you don't like the sweater. You're just gonna throw it away anyway. You're not gonna bother washing it. It's a bad movie that rules.
All right.
It's fun. Like you said, the premise of it is ridiculous. You're down 6 feet in the ground and you find someone frozen in Southern California. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The script is ridiculous, but James, like you said, Brendan Fraser, Pauly Shore surprisingly saved this thing, make it what it is, enjoyable. Even Sean Astin was enjoyable. Arnold's in it because they knew it would make it better. Bad movie that rules.
All right.
I love it. All right, Melissa, you've got the final word here before we go to the patrons.
Yeah, I can't call it a good movie despite loving it and having my first kiss during it and all of
Yeah.
that. But it definitely rules. It rules hard. It's a bad
Yeah.
movie that rules, and I would watch it again and again and again.
Do you remember what part of the movie it was when you got the kiss?
It was more than halfway through because of my sister. That's all I remember. And I remember watching the end. So
Just
it
like-
was somewhere between.
So it wasn't the whole second half.
No.
It's when he's
Wasn't one
drawing.
of those days.
It was when he was drawing in ketchup, your eyes locked, and it was like a moment.
Oh, yep, that's what it
And you're
was.
just like-
We're gonna say that. 'Cause,
Okay,
like,
perfect.
I like that.
Took her half the movie to get her sister kicked out of the room.
Yeah.
Don't you have somewhere to be?
And we only
Here,
lived in this
drink something
tiny
else.
2-bedroom apartment in California. So I mean, if she wanted to spy, she could have from the room. But geez,
Right.
Louise,
Right.
that shows how
Remember-
good the movie was because she was like, "I'm not missing this. I know you're here at the date." But
Remember that thing you had to do?
And you try to ventriloquist your mom's voice.
Yeah.
Come on.
Remember when Mom said you were going over to Grandma's?
That's right. All right. Well, that's 5 rules if I got that right across
Yeah.
the board. Mike and Andrew might surprise you here. Andrew just said this was the longest review we've ever had. Good movie. That's his entire
yeah,
review.
nice.
Give it up
Yes.
for Andrew.
Is this the new guy?
Yeah.
He's my new friend. Hi, Andrew.
And then Mike Harding, here's what Mike Harding said. Look, I hadn't seen this in over 20 plus years, just like me.
Yep.
But it was in my rotation in the early 90s, so I really went into this just hoping not to be disappointed. Fortunately, I found myself laughing out loud for a good chunk of this movie. Maybe it's the nostalgia factor, but to me, this is a good movie, straight up.
There you go.
He hasn't gone through as much stringent movie watching as we do.
I don't know. He
Yeah.
was on Vindicator, so, you know.
I'm sure he does, but he
Andrew.
doesn't watch these all specifically to like,
No.
what's a good movie, what's a bad movie.
I got you.
Andrew hasn't waded through the piles of crap we have yet.
Not yet, but he will.
Just starting out.
I was watching it with my daughter that made me think bad movie that rules because there were so many 90s tropes in there and the dance thing at the end. And I was explaining, I went, oh, all these 90s movies did this, kind of like an
Yeah.
Easy A when she's like, I want my dance number. And
Yeah, all that stuff
Yeah,
became a
so,
thing.
you know, when you're looking at it like that, you're like, oh, yeah, those things are kind of dumb. But, it rules.
True. All right.
And I was watching with my husband, and he said that I got to think about what it was. It was the way Pauly Shore talks was meant to be really odd then, but now it's almost more mainstream to
It
talk
is.
that way. So maybe be better received than we would think.
Yeah. Although it's weird. Did you notice some of the other slang? Now, I'm from California. I've been in that area. I've been to Magic
yeah.
Mountain where it was and stuff. We didn't say some of those things.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so I know you weren't in here yet, but yeah, we talked about like, it was clear this script was written by people that were not teenagers at the time.
in California. Because we did say weird things.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say that we
No, or Cal.
did it.
But you talk about guys like John Hughes and those people that tend to really have a lead on the way teenagers sounded and stuff back then. You know, these people were not them.
No.
I thought it was a surfer thing back then. Like when I had heard of Pauly
Yeah.
Shore, I was like, oh, sure. Like the ocean.
Right?
Surfer.
Maybe
we did start talking like him
because of them.
because
Right.
of him.
Yeah.
Right.
But some of the other ones, like when the guy passed by and she's like, oh, he's rude. And
Right.
We didn't
Or
say
he's
that.
jive. I'm like, that's from the 70s.
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right, so next week, guys, we are back in here again. And of course we are. We're here every single week. We're never going to stop. And we're talking about a horror movie. So thank goodness Nicole's not here.
If I win this Mega Millions, bro, we might stop for vacation.
I can't. You guys can all go on vacation. I'll have to be here by myself talking.
What movie?
But it's The Fog. Now, before you get excited, because there's a 1980 classic John Carpenter movie called The Fog, this would be the 2005 remake of said Fog movie, starring Tom Welling, the guy that played Superman on Smallville, Maggie Grace, the daughter from Taken, and Selma Blair. Those are the three people that starred in The Fog 2005. And by all accounts, I've heard nothing but it's dog water. So I'm excited to come in.
I'm going to miss it.
And this will be the first episode that my daughter Genevieve is on. So
she loves horror movies.
She does. And so it'll be exciting to have Grace's little sister in here. When I say little, she's probably the time that episode comes out, going to have her 18th birthday, but, to Grace, her little sister. And I'm excited to see how that goes. Joe will be back in here as well, and we'll have the Dr. Ryan Madela and the three of them and me, and we'll be talking about The Fog 2005.
FAWG.
So that's right, The Fog.
Dog.
So come on in for that, guys. In the meantime, just want to say thank you on behalf of Clint Busch and Nicole Frier, Ryan Mueller, Melissa Hewitt. I'm James Hauser. Thank you for listening.
I'm a stony, crusty dude with the mop on top. My melon's fully tweaked, but I'll never stop.
I'll never stop.
Trying to wheeze the nugs from coast to coast. It's the ones with the cones are the ones I dig the most. Lisa.
Wow.
Come on, dude.
You know the whole thing, dude.
Oh, yeah. No messing around.
Nothing is harsh to your vibe.
Just get some grindage afterwards.
I don't have the fundage.
Wheezin'. Juice. Wheezin'.
No wheezing the juice. Stop it.
This is California.
This is California.
I'll be back.
Earthquakes aren't like that either.
Your Slurpee never fell off the shelf above your bed?
Directly above you.